Hey, people, how are you doing? Um, Hello to everybody from wherever you may be coming in from or listening from anywhere globally. I wanted to welcome. Today is actually Tuesday, the 11th of August, 2026. To all people in Liberia, we say welcome. All the radio stations, especially the early ones. I want to say welcome. Whenever you come in early as a radio station, just put a hello in the thread so I can recognize you. We much appreciate it. I appreciate you guys coming on exactly when you're supposed to come on. I'm talking about the radio stations. And we want to say big shout out to all the radio stations that come on time to make sure you do the people's business. It is a big deal that you are on time. No excuse will suffice. I need the radio stations to be live at 8 p.m. every single day to make sure our people get the message. It is approximately 4:01 p.m. here on the East Coast of the United States. I'm broadcasting live here from the great state of Massachusetts. I know you guys in Liberia. It is roughly 8 p.m. in Liberia right now across the country. We want to say welcome wherever you are to the Class Reloaded to this edition. Thank you, everybody, man. Thank you for joining us. I see Dukes Brooklyn. You are in class, absolutely. Our numbers continuing to climb. The audience is getting bigger and bigger. We appreciate it every single day. We are hovering now from 22, 2,300. Right now, we are between 28 to 3,000 people every single day. And I appreciate that wholeheartedly. Thank you so much for continuing to share the show and expand the numbers every single day. I see a brand new name, and it's a big deal for me. Yeah, thank you for always doing that and always sharing the show. I want to welcome you guys from across the country. Clara Ricks, how are you doing? Samuel C. Welcome. He's watching from AML, Port Buchanan City. Welcome to the show. James Farm, 7767. Hi, Mr. Dwellu. I'm watching from Calgary, Alberta, Canada. You guys out there in Canada, man, we say welcome to the conversation and thank you for joining us and thank you for being here. We appreciate this. Yes, big shout out to Radio Bootor. Thank you so much, Radio Bootor, Bootor FM 102.3 in Sano County for being on time. This is a big deal. We appreciate this. I will actually make sure you guys get a bonus if you continue to be on time. This is very good for the audience out there in the Southeast. Thank you so much, Henry Sloan. Thank you, Radio Bootor TV is here broadcasting live from Radio Bootor in Sano County. Thank you, Momo. M. Salamani is way out there in Charlotte, North Carolina. How you guys doing out there? Arthur Doki, welcome to the conversation. Messiah Snoding. Everybody, man, thank you for joining the conversation. Let's listen to the information minister while you guys are popping in here from everywhere.
That is the reason why the religious scrutiny and it should suffice in the court of law. This is the guiding foundation and principle used as we confront the drug situation. Because we seek remedy to this situation not in the court of public opinion, but in the court of law. When we mention your name and say you are a culprit or you are culpable, our actions and decisions against you should survive judicial scrutiny. We should not walk to the court of law just for formality. Meaning you move there with little or no evidence, and therefore you can get no conviction. See how people are shifting conversations here and there. Some believe that there are actors outside the government that are giving you more information than the government. Those actors are not taking anybody to court. Their actions are limited to where they're doing that.
That is the Information Minister of the Republic of Liberia, Honorable Geraldine McMatthew Pia. He is absolutely right. The government cannot be run on Facebook. It cannot be run on social media. You can listen to the whole conversation on the Information Ministry website from today Mika briefing. Take a look out there. He's absolutely right. They have to go to court. The government has to go to court. The evidence they present to the court has to be convictable. It has to be evidence sufficient enough to convict somebody. So we have to make sure all of that is present at every single time. Mr. Jerry W., I don't know if you say my sound is not clear. It appears to be very clear. But let me see if a few more people come up and say it's not clear, then we can go from there. Yes, to me, the minister is right. We cannot run the government on social media. Just because you have an inkling or you have something and you say, oh, you look at here, look at here. The government cannot follow every stone that is thrown on top of the water, so to speak. They have to have hard evidence to present to a court to make sure somebody is convicted. The drug issue is being handled very expeditiously. It's being handled properly by the administration. The government is doing everything humanly possible to make sure this is handled properly. I know people sometimes, even I'm guilty of this, we want this to be so quick that we forget that investigations takes time. They take time. And you have to gather the evidence piece by piece. You cannot falsely accuse somebody. You have to do everything properly. That's exactly what the government is doing. I want to continue to work on you guys, man. I see Kulo Yobo, Mr. Yobo. Welcome to the show. Louis Roger, Thomas Gray is here. Political Paco Salif, Mr. Salif. How are you doing? My sister Tana Cooper, welcome to the conversation. Oh, yes, I see you, Henry. I think I said your name already. All across Liberia, man. Most of you guys that are copying at the radio stations across the country. Like I said, if you're live already, please post your radio station. I just want to make sure that you guys are coming online. We've been getting some complaint that certain radio stations are not coming on. We have about 17 radio stations across the country. And I want to make sure you guys come on time to be able to get the message to our people. This is extremely important. Jonathan Colon, this side of Pennsylvania. Welcome to the show, man. Everybody, Mr. Listen, Madison, how are you doing? Let's see a school out there in Grand Crew County that was being initially built by the former Speaker of the House of Representatives, Fonanti Kova, and they literally neglected the school. And our people, our kids out there, they're not in a proper building, so to speak. Watch for yourself as we continue to come in here.
Welcome, sir. Welcome, sir. Welcome. The name, sir?
I'm Mr.
Nawayasi. That's good. Shall we tell the facility to know what is going on there so that we can ask 1 or 2 questions?
Yes.
Okay. Let's work along. So, these are your students.
My students.
Okay.
Yeah. ECE, elementary, junior high. That the student is
All right. So let's talk the classes. But I see a construction here going on.
Yeah, it is the former speaker, Fanatic Kofa, helping the Flanagan people to construct the
Okay.
other construction.
Oh, that's a building I heard about that Franikova is, okay.
They contain 12 rooms.
12 rooms. Okay, means that it has to reach the high school level.
No, beginning from ECE, 3 sections, I mean 3 from ABC, KG1, KG2.
Okay.
Then from first grade to 6th grade, from 7th grade to 9th grade, this is why it reached to enough that from 9th grade to 12th grade.
The old structure that was here has been destroyed. And I see a little structure that.
Yeah, because we did it while the building is under construction.
Okay.
Yeah. We did this one so that the people have place to learn.
Okay. So let's talk the classes that you have here. What class?
That's the first and second grade class. First and second grade.
First and second.
Yeah.
Okay.
First and second.
I'm going to stop right there. This is how all the classes look like. This is 2026. This is the year of our Lord. This is how our class looks like in 2026. I don't know what the former speaker was doing out there, but that building cannot be sitting that long. The classroom, fourth and fifth grade, are literally in the same classroom. First and second grades are in the same classroom. This is in Grand Crew County. And I hope for the information, I mean, the education ministry can take a hold of this. There is something that has happened in Liberia for a very long time. Representative candidates and officials of government that want to run for representative or senatorial position, they will claim they're building schools that they cannot maintain, and they will build it in some kind of nyama way, and they just leave it, and it just sits there. I think there should be legislation that nobody should be allowed to build school in Liberia without proper guidance from the government itself. You can just go out there and build schools. Schools across the country must be standardized. Just for political reasons, you say, I'm going to build school, and you put something down. We are seeing these kind of projects all over the country, and that has to stop. That has to stop. We want to continue to welcome you guys, man. Big shout out to Classic FM up in Kakata for coming on live. We appreciate you up there in Classic FM. Somebody said they're watching from Zweju live as well. Thank you so much. This is Kawi Moba, Mr. Moba, all the way out there in Zweju. Arthur Butler is out of Wadena, Minnesota. Thank you. Marie Johnson, thank you so much. Yes, and in the radio stations that are coming on, please make your presence known so I can recognize you. I want to make sure the radio station has coming a lot. Classic FM 93.9 in Kakata, Margibi County. Thank you so much. And I think the person behind the steering out there in Kakata is Arthur K. Aqua. And welcome to the show, man. Thank you for coming on live. Samuel Sarabasa is also here. Thank you so much. Look, I will continue to say this. Liberia is not going to be taken lightly anymore. We have to do things to improve the country. Big shout out to the current president of the University of Liberia for her work she's doing out there. There are a lot of obstacles that she's faced, even when she first came to the university. And we do recognize there's a lot of work that the university needs. If you guys remember, I think a couple of weeks ago, President Bwaka has instructed the university faculty and the overseer of the university to hasten the modernization or the rehabilitation of the university to bring it into the 21st century. So the president of the university, big shout out to her. Let's listen to her very quickly before we go to the next video.
Well, there are a lot of things that are happening new right now, but there are a lot of things that have been evolving over time too. You know, I'm a person that when I came to the university, my first job was to analyze the situation, to listen to people, to see what kind of problems I needed to help with, and then to start working on solutions. And so a lot of the problems, as everyone knows, that UL has are problems of long standing. They're complicated situations that didn't develop overnight, and they require in-depth solutions that really take, a long perspective or a long view. And so my approach has always been to think about that. So for example, when I came in, one of the first problems that confronted me was the problem of UL's bathrooms. And, I, like everybody else, was appalled at the state of the bathrooms and really vexed by the fact that, people's dignity was just not respected with the condition of the bathrooms. I thought that I'd be able to fix them quickly. But when I took a deeper look, I saw that the reason that the bathrooms were in bad shape wasn't the bathrooms themselves, but it was actually the water system, and the water system problem was attributable to the electricity problem. So I got to thinking about how can we solve electricity, water, and bathrooms at the root level, not just slap up some new fixtures, but actually to make the system better from the root. And so after considering a lot of different solutions, I settled on a solar-powered bathroom solution that would allow us to add 26 new bathrooms at Fendel campus, brand new bathrooms, solar-powered, so that the water supply would always be flowing because the electricity would always be available. And I thought,
And that's not just the only solution she's brought to LU, additional solutions. I do understand you can never satisfy LU students, but I think the current university president is doing a somewhat great job out there trying to modernize the facility. Big shout out to her team and to the administration for pumping more money into LU. This is our premier university. We have to put our top quality graduate. Hey, Corporal Leon, I will try and take a look at the text message. Thank you for that reminder. Augustine Gate, welcome to the show. Yasa Jalachie, Malanchie, how are you doing? Thank you for popping in here. Look, every now and then we will take a pulse of the country, and once in a while we must listen to Liberian citizens. of what is going on in the country. Let's follow this brother for a second.
Good morning. Good morning. The president of this country, Joe Yimabwaka, respect to you. We in a society with the kind of people where we from, we sedition where we from. It's something that is inborn tendency, so we expect it. Myself from under the river, so I know exactly what happened in the river, what is under there. Thank you to you, old man. See, Bwapolu, which is Bopolu, Bopolu Bwapolu got just a river between Bon County and that county. And many other people been dying in that place. You have to leave from where Bopolu to come to Tumbleberry. From Tumbleberry to Douala. From Douala to Freeport. From Freeport before you start going to Raleigh. From Raleigh before you're taking Bon County Road, Papa Kakata. You understand what I'm saying? And then today the president constructing a bridge to that place where you can just walk into Bon County. I shouldn't say thank you. Thank you. Let God bless you. The strength is with you.
Yes, that's a Liberian citizen recognizing, even in a small thing, we have to recognize it. We have to recognize that Liberia is continuing to improve, and nothing is going to stop this forward march for the improvement of Liberia. Because if Liberia continues on its path, you don't have to go out there and say, oh, I'm celebrating the president, or I'm doing this, I'm doing that. That's not what I'm saying here. But what I'm saying here is you have to recognize when something positive is happening in Liberia, we have to celebrate that positivity. And that's all we are saying. We have to celebrate the positivity because we know that positivity is very good for Liberia. This is the argument. This is the argument. And we will continue to highlight this across our country, across Liberia. Man, you're welcome. You're welcome, all you guys that are coming in here. I want to say welcome, Tina Batama. Welcome to the show. Victoria Foconia, Nora Tennant is watching from the USA. How are you doing? Mama, how's everything with you? All across our country, man. Let me just highlight some excerpt from several things here. We all know what happened in the country with the DEA boss. General Zianka has been appointed as the new LDA boss in the Republic of Liberia. I've not seen one bad comment about this election. Everybody believes you need a strong hand, the LDA, and I believe that as well. And I also agree with this. The LDA need a stern hand, and I think General Zianka will do a great job. We all agree with it. One of the things that I'm a little skeptical with General Zianka is how, because the discipline that is usually in the military, he may not find that discipline over at the LDA. That's why he will have to, ramp up his leadership abilities. But if he can get that under control to make sure people follow his directives as a soldier will, he will do a great job over there at the LDA. And I think the LDA is in good hands, and hopefully we can get the kind of results we all been longing for. Before I remove the picture of the screen, I want people to understand that President Bwaka continues to listen to his people. He doesn't just, and when people talk, he does listen, because this fight against drugs, he recognizes that it's not going to be a fight just by one person that's going to fight this fight. This fight is going to be literally by everybody, and it's everybody's fight. So if General Zianka can do a better job, obviously, let's put General Zianka in place. Additionally, President Bwaka remains stern on his efforts to improve conditions in the country. This is what the president said during the AID. He said healthcare is our problem, water and security is our problem, telecommunication is our problem, housing is our problem, education, etc., is our problem. We need to address these concerns to get a better Liberia. President Bwaka is on to something here. We need to address those. These are crucial issues across Liberia. We all know President Bwaka just appointed General Zianka. This is a little excerpt that was published when the president was talking about the REST agenda implementation. President Joseph Yuma Boakai has called for stronger accountability, efficient use of public resources, and accelerated implementation of government programs, warning officials that Liberians will judge the administration by the results it delivers rather than the excuses it makes. If you notice, since President Bwaka came to power, there was not a single day that President Bwaka ever pointed a finger to the previous administration. If you guys remember, somebody say no sound. Martha Doki is saying no sound. It seems like I'm pretty proud of, but unless I get three people to say one thing, I tend not to pay attention to it. So a minimum of three people have to say it. So if nobody's getting any sound, additionally, please make that notation to so we can make sure we readjust. There's no sound on Facebook either. Huh? You guys showed no sound on Facebook? Bill Solly said good sound. Okay, you guys are putting me behind there, but we will talk about it. Well, you're welcome to the show. Let me play this thing, and we'll try to check. Please increase your volume a little bit. It is back on now. Okay, I see what's happening. Maybe when I brought in Elvin Snow, the video got a little bit mad at me and realized it doesn't want me to bring Elvin Snow on. But I would say this: Elvin Snow has an agenda. His agenda is to lie on the administration. His agenda, he believes that if Liberia fails, he can continue to thrive in chaos. You know, Elvin Snow has always suckled at the nipples of Liberia. And every time Liberia wants to improve, Elvin Snow gets a little bit afraid because he believes if Liberia develops and the people's minds and the people's eyes are open, he can no longer cajole the people. So for him, Liberia must be chaotic. Liberia must be backward. Liberia must be poor, because in that poverty, he can exploit them. So this is why he wants Liberia to fail. But we're going to say that to Senator Snow. The people of Bombay County, they're about to give you a red car. I can guarantee you, you will not go back over there. You will go outside there that you will Howard Taylor. So the so-called bull, where you say you know, so you can do that bull bidding outside. You're welcome to the show, y'all. Let's start the show.
Class Reloaded, the #1 online show that brings the truth. Showcasing JNB and JKK progress all across the country.
Oh, the Class Reloaded, we are online every day. Showcasing progress the Liberian way.
Well,
JMB and JKK, they're making the way. The Class Reloaded, we're shining today. Hey. Oh.
From Monrovia City to the other counties, development talk shake the country. We talk the truth, we don't lie. The rescue mission making people smile. Roads getting better, schools better, electricity stable, no more hoping. We see the change, we see the light. Unity Party doing things right. Who talk the facts?
The Class Reloaded.
Who bring the vibe?
The Class Reloaded.
Support development.
The Class Reloaded.
Who better rise again?
Oh yes we can.
Who talk the facts?
The Class Reloaded.
Who bring the vibe?
The Class Reloaded.
Support development.
The Class Reloaded.
Who better rise again?
Oh yes we can. The Class Reloaded, we are online every day.
Every day.
Showcasing progress the Liberian way.
Well, JMB and JKK, they're making the way. The Class Reloaded, we shining today.
Hey.
Hey, hey, hey. Turn up the sound, let the people dance. Liberia progress, we get the chance. No fake news, we bring the proof. The Class Reloaded, always in the booth. From social media to the street corner, everybody talking about the new order. Respect to the hosts, they keeping it real. Liberia future, that's the deal. The Class Reloaded,
Truth, truth.
Liberia rising,
Progress.
JMB and JKK,
Develop, develop.
the rescue mission, we move soon.
The Class Reloaded.
True, true,
Liberia rising.
progress.
JMB and JKK.
Develop, develop, the rescue mission, we move soon.
Well, thank you to all you guys, man. Thanks everybody for coming in here. I want to say big shout out to all the radio stations across the country. Yeah, thank you for coming in, relaying. If a radio station is not on, I just saw somebody say it's not on. Just make that notation. I tend to take note here and pass it on so to make sure the guys come on. Before I do my little quiz or lamentation today, I want you guys to listen to this before I even say anything. You're welcome from across the country. It's about 2 minutes long, and I will play in its entirety. Listen for a second.
This West African region attracting a lot of world oil companies. We're talking about oil of countries like Liberia, for example. We're joined by Craig Steinke. He is CEO and Director at Blue Energy. Thank you very much for joining us.
Glad to be here, Andy.
Tell us what you're doing there in West Africa. What do you have at this stage? What are your assets?
Well, we have there are 3 blocks comprising 2.2 million acres in the heart of the Harper Basin, undrilled Harper Basin, offshore Liberia.
And so you have rights to these. Are you actually drilling there now, and are you exploring?
Well, we're exploring, Andy. Drilling comes later. Mm-hmm. It's a big deep water, ultra deep water play. And we have a lot of science to do jointly with Total first before we spud the first exploration well.
Right.
And I can elaborate on that. Like more specifically, we're currently reprocessing a large seismic grid that covers most of our blocks in order to better image the subsurface to de-risk the play.
How much money have you raised so far, Craig? Because I'm just trying to get an idea of the capital intensity of what you're doing.
Well, this is a very capital intensive operation over time. Blue is a young company. We've raised about $14 million thus far just to do the early science. But the big spends come once we reprocess the seismic and set up the drilling program, just to take that.
I want to stop right there, and I want Liberians to listen to me. These are explorers literally in the Harper Basin off the coast of Liberia. I mean, they're drilling in Liberia, not drilling yet. They're doing some research in Liberia territorial waters. Their initial money that they've raised is $14 million. And I say this for people to understand. Liberians, we are always complaining that the foreigners come to the country and they take everything. We say, oh, the people come, they do this. I've been saying this for almost 2 years to raise $25 million so we can be able to go into Liberia and compete. We can also become investors in these oil wells for this exploration. And always found we too can become millionaires in our own country. But every time I come to Liberia and try to explain to them that raising money, this is typical. This oil facility, they've raised $14 million. Our initial raising money we were targeting $25 million. With $25 million, we can actually buy an oil well. And we collaborate with a company. They can come in, they do the exploration. Oil is found, it's a risk. Everything is a risk. But it always find if it's 1 billion barrel of oil, we own it. Every single investor can become a millionaire. But people want to sit and expect magic to happen. Oh, I want to put my money somewhere. I'm not asking you to take your retirement. I'm asking you for $1,000. I'm asking you for $2,000. I'm asking you for $500 with the Liberian Diaspora Corporation. I'm asking you for $500. They won't wear your hand ever. Because if we continue to sit on the sideline, and these guys come to the country, it's the same thing with B Mountain. If I tell you guys B Mountain barely invested $10 million into the country initially when they started their exploration, and when they found gold, they're shipping close to $1 billion out of the country every single year. Every person that put money in that place became a millionaire. They are shipping over $895 million out of our country every single year. And Liberians are in the diaspora. I'm going to say this now. I don't intend to piss anybody off, but it's to drive the point home. We are working in nursing homes don't sleep in our beds. We are working in group homes. We don't sleep in our beds. We are working in factories. We don't sleep in our beds. We are working manual job. We are working chicken farms. We are working the most manual job you can think about. Now, that doesn't mean like we're not working in upskill fields here. That's what I'm saying. But I'm saying the majority of us. There's an exception to every rule. Obviously, there are doctors in America. There are lawyers here. There are accountants. There are nurses, etc., etc. You name it. But the bulk of us work way down there. We push our leg cartoon. But imagine you take $2,000 of your pushing cartoon money, you form a block, the Liberian Diaspora Corporation. We tell these companies, yeah, you come into my country, we're going to pull some lever. We want 20%. We want 30% of this exploration. We will come up with $4 million and pump this money towards there. And the $4 million go into the exploration. Now, there are no guarantees. But guess what? When B Mountain first began this gold exploration, they were not asking $4 million. They invested less than $1 million in the beginning. And then when they knew there was gold there, they invested $10 million to begin building the facility. Now they have expanded the facility and they are pulling out almost $900 million every single year of gold out of our country. The entire investment was nothing more than $50 million, but it was not done in the beginning. I say that to say this. Liberian people, we must build the Liberian Diaspora Corporation. What we intend to do, we intend to achieve 5 basic tasks in Liberia. Number 1, we have to make our shareholders money. We have raised a little over $300,000. This money is not enough. We need more. Number 2, we have to create thousands of jobs across the country that we control. Number 3, and most important, we have to build Liberian industry. We must build Liberian industry. Number 4, we must have Liberian have economic influence, economic clout, control of money in our society. And number 5, we must get Liberian expertise back to the country. I want us to build the Liberian Diaspora University. I want us to build the Liberian Diaspora Hospital. I want us to build the first skyscraper in the country. On the very top must say Liberian Diaspora Corporation. We have nothing less than $24 billion every single year here in the diaspora. I'm talking about Western Europe. I'm talking about America. I'm talking about Australia. The Liberian entire economy is less than $5 billion. We make about $24 billion a year, and we can barely raise $25 million to be able to go into the country to compete with these guys that are coming to our country. They are bringing $14 million. You heard him. They've only raised $14 million and they've begun their exploration. So even if I lost my Fatima, I said we spent thousands of dollars to put this stuff together. Even if we lost it, we lost it. But guess what? When it gains tremendous amount of money. They think the only way we can control Kimam, the only way we can control Nima, we got to get money. I know some people say, oh, money is not everything. Money is almost everything. Yeah, forget about the superficial thing. Oh, when you go to heaven, I understand that. I'm a Christian. We have a lot of Muslims here. I get it. But if we don't have money, we don't have control. So if we want to control the Sesto River, we need money. If we want to control the forest of Grand Crew County, we need money. And we in the diaspora, we have some means. And I will continue to beg you guys. Our last date to purchase a share, it is February 28th or 2027. A share is $100 for share. Like I say, you buy one share and leave with you. Our goal is to get each person to buy 10 shares, which is $1,000. It will not kill nobody. It will not do nothing. No, Dwadu will not steal your money. Everything is open. You will be able to see it. But if we don't fight to control Liberia, if we don't fight to build the Liberian Diaspora University, if we don't, they're not free. Nothing would we end up free. Everything is for profit. If we don't fight to build a factory in Buchanan, if we don't fight to build a factory in Barclayville that we control, where we can get express to come back to the country and grow our economy and create local millionaires in Saniquale. I want local Liberian millionaires in Vonjima, local Liberian millionaires in Buchanan and Harper. If we start doing that, we will quicken the pace towards development in Liberia. This is the proper way. Let's not just let the foreigners bring the money, 14 million. We can raise 14 million. But we need to do more. We need to do more. We say we know book, but that book needs to be translated in Liberia. Unless we do that, we don't know book. Once again, man, you're welcome to the show. Fatima, how do we get money into Liberia to build some factory? And the boy, what we know here, the boy transformed to the Liberian Diaspora Hospital. Imagine we build a referral hospital in the country, second to none. And we come here, we say, oh, Certain thing where mama you been doing the nursing job too much. The money where they pay you in Providence will pay the same money in Liberia. Come and become one of the tutor nurses for our local nurses. We get my sister Carolyn. The Carolyn, let's see, you got a PhD in nursing. Come down. That expand the hospital. Instead of people going to India to die, now we got a private hospital that can do everything you can do in Providence. Fatima.
I think you said it all. The Liberia Diaspora Equity Fund is one way that we can get together to raise money, our own money, all Liberian own, all everything we're talking about. Oh, the Lebanese people kind of take charge of our economy. This other person come and take charge of our economy. How do we do that? How do we become, you know, our own people that are taking charge of the Liberian economy through financial power? I know our year is on book and say, maybe my own Lord now yeah, in heaven. Nobody went there and came by and said they saw it there. We looking for it right here. So, oh my God, I started that. I mean, he is on. Anyway,
Fatima, what you say? What you
no man, don't be doing that kind of thing to me. I don't like it.
say? What
I
you
don't.
say?
All right. But anyway, anyway, that's it. But yeah, we need to come together
Fatima,
to
man.
support
I mean,
this
sorry.
this thing.
Sorry, yeah?
Yeah, thank you. We need to come together and support the Liberia Diaspora Equity Fund because when we have our own money collectively, we can build factories all across the country, put our young people to work, do what we have to do for the sake of Liberians, businesses for Liberians, owned by Liberians, where we treat our people. So now, I know it was years ago, I think they had just built a Chinese mall. This guy was just passing, he swing a bag, the bag basically through something. I see the way the man yank him. I went there, I said, oh no, you can't do that. Because, it was an accident. It's in Liberian, if we have our own businesses here, we're supporting our own selves and we're having our own financial, situation where we were in charge of our own economy. You think it will go like that? Let's support the Liberia Diaspora Equity Fund. Something to invest in. It's good for Liberians and the amount of Western Union and same way if you can say it. If each person just buy $1,000 worth of shares, 10 shares, you know what we'll do? You know what we'll do to this country? Let's think about it. Let's invest. Thank you.
And Fatima, just what you mentioned, same way, guys. Welcome to the show. Councilor Man, Honorable Namwe, Brother Blair, welcome to the show. Just to mention, same way, and the Western Union, the money transfer agencies in Liberia, we send home approximately between 600 million and 800 million every year. These guys get, I think, at 1.2%, right? These boys are making hundreds of millions of dollars every year from Liberian that sending money home. Why the Liberian Diaspora Corporation cannot be they can't do it through which we send money. And we can't blame our money. Every company is in America that had a started a company. Let me repeat. Every company is in America. People come together, they pull their money together. The hustlers are all living in America. Subdivisions. These are built by investors. They put their money together, they come, they build it, then you pay a mortgage for 3,000 years. And I'm telling you, I don't let them lie to you. Because once they give me a Blair, welcome to the show. How you doing, my brother?
And good evening to everyone. I hope my voice is am I loud enough? Okay, I hope everybody is okay. And to the audience, Councilor Man, and because I try to use another different set tonight. So yeah, what Duadu is saying, it's right. Liberians we haven't learned to support a genuine cause that comes from Liberians. We've always been seen in the vanguard of promoting people from other places. It's not a bad thing, okay? But when it comes to Liberian own initiative, most of the time we don't tend to promote it. It's not that because we don't have confidence in ourselves. I think it is because it's a mentality issue that we have. Okay. What Dwalu is doing now, that the Diaspora Equity Fund, I wish I had some money now to invest in it and have at least a little bit or to be paying my rent or I would have invested in it. Because for me, if I'm investing in it, it's not for me today. It's for tomorrow. It's for my daughter to be able to reap the dividends that will come from that investment. Okay, because if I invest in that fund today, while it grows, I do not expect in the first 6 years, 7 years, 10 years to begin to get dividends from my shares. No, when I'm investing in it, I'm investing in it for my daughter because that equity will be transferred to my daughter, in the aftermath. That is why you see in the Western world, most of these young people from generation to generations today, they are well settled because those people who invested in equities and corporations way back, they did not really reap the dividend of their investments. They were investing it indirectly as a trust for their future generation. And I think if we should help to build a middle income country, that is where we should begin. Because what Dwadu is doing is being very much far-sighted. I haven't seen a librarian that have really done that. And this is something I think that we all need to help support. That we talk about Sandwave. The first time I ever heard about Sandwave, Sandwave used one of the most influential person in the library community, Henry Costa, to promote that particular program. Because he was one of the first person when he was on the radio, when he was just coming, as a business, maybe to Africa or Liberia, they used Henry Costa. So I think what we should do, we'll talk back those. I think we have to put our hands together. We have to collaborate. We have to put our hands behind Dwalu to do these things. And some of the reason why I think people are not ready behind Dwalu is the same mentality issue. Or that begin when you get rich and right, you start getting frisky. Those are the mentality. Because you feel that you don't want for somebody to grow above you. You don't want for somebody to edge you. And for me, for my mentality, if I were to help somebody tomorrow and the person can grow beyond my reach, I'm a proud man because I did something that I helped somebody to grow somewhere and the person can surpass where I went. So Liberia, I think, is mentality issue, and we have to begin to change those minds and attitudes.
Thank you, Blair. Thank you. And I understand, guys, back up to you guys. Some of that. Yasa, you said something is in the past experience. I understand that. This is a registered incorporated business in the state of Massachusetts. We report to the federal government and to the state of Massachusetts. If you went to the state of Massachusetts, Secretary of State right now, you type in the Liberian Diaspora Equity Fund, it will pop up. This is not for Dwalu. This is not for me personally. Every shareholder will have interest in it. There will be a board of director. It will be like any corporation. Everything is legal. You want the documentation, it can be sent to you. You can visit the website, LiberiaDiasporaEquityFund.com. Check it out. Any question you get, call. The number is on the screen. But let's forget about that right now. But anything we can talk behind the scene, and this is the aim. We cannot develop because most of us are poor. So we don't have enough money to really build a corporation so easily from scratch. That's how it's done everywhere. The Amazon you see today, it will be gone in a garage. The Apple, any company, GM, you just name it. FedEx, these were companies that were built. FedEx manager could not afford gas. I can tell you the stories about most of these guys. So nothing was begun with being $1 billion process. And you're not going to make Dwalu rich. The goal is to make sure we have controls in the country. All the shareholders who want that will be rich. Not Dwalu. And I'm a power fan. I don't own it. If I'm not doing a good job, you say that book, Council of Mind will be here. The shareholder can vote me out and book Council of Mind. Read the article in corporation. Read the prospectus. Read the share purchase agreement. We send it to all the shareholders. If you buy shares, so no, you don't buy shares, we'll send it to you in the mail. So everything is there. This is not Dwalu Power Fan. Once again, Councilor Man, welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you, Dwalu, and let me say good evening to my fellow panelists. Fatima, who are giving me stress. But it's good to be here again on this good day. Let me say good evening to Liberians at home and abroad. I like your vision. I like your tenacity, the commitment you make along with the rest of the people, Fatima and the other people. I think it's something good for many serious and forward-thinking people to look into. And let me say special good evening to people of the class Reloaded that I was privileged to meet today. I think I met 2 persons today right in my area right here in Philadelphia, and they were so excited And I met two of them again in Minnesota when I was there over the last weekend, and they were also very, very excited. Thanks for all the encouragement that you give us. I guess one of my big sisters from Liberia, Matu Todman, says that she own she was younger, she was coming to invest, but right now she just want to enjoy, eat, and travel. But my you still, still can invest in it because you own, you still got, your heirs, your children, and everybody else. But well, it's good to be here today, and I look forward to a very good conversation again this evening with the rest of the crew.
Honorable Namwe, how you doing, sir?
Well, we're holding the ground. I'm doing very well. So, hello, to everyone else. You all look sharp, 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 sharp. Look, Dwelu, you've been a very good messenger, and I think you've marketed this concept. We've discussed this over and over. One thing I've said to you consistently is that this is a perfect marriage that's waiting to happen. But I don't know why the two parties are still bluffing. When I say bluffing, meaning you won't get certain amount of money before you can count on the ground. Those kinds of things. Look, our people, they are largely driven by, the mentality of seeing before they do. That's my view. What you are proposing to do basically is trying to fill a void. This is basically access to financing, which is a major, major constraint here in this country, especially for private sector participation in anything. If you went to a bank trying to get a loan, you have an interest of upwards of 13% and that kind of thing. And you have to pay that money back if you're lucky, maybe 36 months, 24 months. You can't do business with that kind of arrangement. I don't even dream about going to do anything like that because it's a trap. Given the business condition here, you pawn all your stuff, go take that money. You're here with jelly inside, you know. So we hear the opportunities is amazing. Is here to do business. You guys on that side of the world, have earned some money. You have the yearning to come back home. Our side is to make sure that the condition for return gets better and improve all of the time. Security is improved. The investment climate, is improving and all those kinds of things. So I think you just make the decision count, zero in one thing, start it up, and trust me, Liberia is a bandwagon country. They will follow you. But we look forward to very good, fruitful discussion today. And let's see how it goes.
Thank you, Mr. Nangwe. Absolutely, I do agree with you. The reason why we don't just come right away because we have to keep the state deadlines where there is a window that we have to raise it in that window. Then once the window expires before we can actually touch the money, which is February 28th of 2027 is the final day. And I do understand that, look, guys, anybody, only one share you need to become a member. One share is $100. If that one you can afford that. Our target, like I said before, we're targeting a minimum of 10 shares. Some people buying 50 shares. Some people buying 60 shares. They won't wear a hand able. Some people buying 20 shares. They won't wear a hand able. And like Mr. Dangwe said, that's our plan. We will put it in something to begin with. Even we build a coal factory, we'll build it with something. Even we come up with shovel factory, we will start somewhere. Abraham, let's hear from you. Say that again.
How much for sharing? How much for share?
$100 per share.
All right.
Yeah.
So I can give my money to Fatima?
They get direct place to pay the money. Looking at talking about Fatima.
Fatima will pay your money. Abraham, are you here with us?
We'll talk back to do. I think I will express some interest in it as well.
Abraham, what's on your mind?
Doro, let me say good evening to all of the panelists. And let me say good evening to all of our followers and viewers. Doro, I have come this evening for me to be able to make it practically clear that there's a need that we construct a prison facility in our country. We cannot be depending on Saw Beach alone. We cannot be depending on Saw Beach. When case is adjudicated in Painesville, we transfer the opponent to Saw Beach. When cases are adjudicated here, we send the opponent to Saw Beach. Saw Beach is overcrowded. And that is my frustration, because the Minister of Justice should be able to look in that direction, to be able to go abroad, for you to be able to build, to be able to appeal to our partners. China can be able to do that perfectly. India can be able to do that for us perfectly, with all your money being spent. Even tell that next year or year before, year after next, it will not still be bad. But there's a need that this government, our government, be able to look in the direction of constructing one decent prison facility. The Saw Beach that is holding a lot of our prisoners today. The amount of prisoners that in our Saw Beach, that was not the amount that was to be there at this current point. The population of Labrador have grown out to 6 million. So are we saying that we're going to be dependent on our one prison facility? I will say no. So there's a need that our Mr. President, there's a need that, please, Mr. President, I'm appealing on my knee. I'm asking you for you to please call your Justice Minister and be able to tell him that there's a need, that we need a prison facility. We need it. We need it because there are a lot of prisoners that will very soon I will be into that place. And we cannot be able to put the guard there when there's not enough space for them. Thank you.
Thank you, Abraham. And thank you so much.
Let me just say something. I think Abraham is right, though. Abraham, the only thing is that I don't think it's the president that's supposed to be calling the justice minister. I think the justice minister rather should be telling the president what we need.
Exactly.
But you're absolutely correct. Because as the population grows, the obviously, unfortunately, crime rate will grow. And we do need a maximum security facility comparable enough to cater for these. You see, prisoners also have rights. It doesn't mean because even if you are convicted, if you are convicted and they sentence you to life imprisonment, you still have rights as a prisoner. You know, and I think it is becoming deplorable increasingly. It's not only with the Monrovia Central Prison, what we call South Beach, but it is also across the entire country. You know, in Kakata, the prison compound was built for 65 persons. Now it has pretty close to 200 people, more or plus. So can you imagine 65 and over 200? Monrovia Central Prison was built for 375 persons. Now it has 1,500 plus people. So it's even triple that number. So you're absolutely right. Because we don't want certain things. And what is happening is unfortunate in our criminal justice system, is that, you know, I know that we have a land space at Cheesemoburg. There was already a prison being built. I don't know what the status. Maybe some of us need to find out from the Ministry of Justice what is the status. You know, what's the current status of the Cheesemoburg facility? Because you could turn the Monrovia Central Prison into a how you call it, pre-trial detention facility. And the sad thing about the Monrovia Central Prison is that out of the 1,500 plus people, only about 300 or 400 of them are convicts. Only about 300 or 400 of them have gone to court and have been convicted of a crime. The rest of the people have not gone to court. Their cases have not been heard. So can you imagine? You have over 1,000 plus people in jail for years. They have not sat in front of the judge. The cases have not been heard. They have not been determined. That is also a violation of their rights. And then if the courts decide that, because the law provides the judge, and if anybody follow Judge Roosevelt Willie in Kakata, executed that mandate of the law, granting the judge the power to even free prisoners if they stay in jail for many years without trial. The law says you must release them, because which means the state is not prepared either to carry them to go through the trials or to go through the court process. So it's a violation of their rights, because remember, all those people are presumed innocent until they are proven guilty. So you cannot have an innocent man in jail all the time and where you're not going to court. And what is worse is that if you are in that prison for a crime that even if you are convicted, maybe the maximum sentence is 1 year, you have been there for almost 2-3 years. So even if you're going to carry the court and convict you mentally also a long time, but you're still in there because nobody now go carry a case to court. The government, some people just put you there and forget about you, and I think you are right, Abraham. So what we'll do is that probably tomorrow, some of us will make some calls to the Ministry of Justice and find out what is the status of the Cheesemanburg facility. If it is not going ahead, then maybe we can all make the advocacy so that as they're preparing the budget process now in Liberia, that process, because it's supposed to be 2 maximum security prisons. It's going to be the Central Prison in South Beach and the one in Grand Jide, the Correction Palace. In fact, Correction Palace, Grand Jide was supposed to be the only maximum prison that when you are convicted, you sent to Grand Jide. All the other ones supposed to be holding, a pre-trial detention. When you go to court and you're convicted and say 5 years, 10 years, 2 years, then they send you to Grand Jide. But the Grand Jide said right now, I think everybody just sending all the prisoners there, so it's overcrowded too. And that is not a conducive thing for our country. And so I agree with you, AB. I think thank you for always happening this. Maybe we now need to follow up as something and make that advocacy stronger.
Yes, AB, you're right. And some people tend to forget the prison is not just a confinement thing, it's a public health issue. Additionally as well. So a lot of things are tied to the prison. If you remember when B Series, where they came into Liberia, some people say it began in the prison. And I won't doubt it that it began in South Beach, because that place is filthy. And number two, I know in Liberia there is a push where only poor men can go to jail. But some BB men are supposed to be going to jail too. Maybe we'll push it more aggressively to fix the prison. I'm going to start with you, Councilor Ma, on this topic here tonight. A new selection by the president. I know I've been hearing a lot of people saying this is a great selection to run the LDA. The LDA is a pressing issue in the country right now. So General Zianka has been selected by the president to oversee this facility. One thing that I have a little hesitation for, although Zianka is an excellent pick, is because he's a soldier. The problem here is you come from a structured environment where you gave order, it is immediately followed. Major General Zianka may not get that immediate response that he would get from a typical soldier in the AFL. Although I believe he will still be successful, he's willing to really push. But what kind of difficulty do you think he will be facing once he goes to that area? Everybody celebrating, but for me, I'm looking at the mind of a soldier in an environment where you have a paramilitary organization that may not be as disciplined as an AFL soldier will be. Honorable Ma.
Dwalu, I think first and foremost, I am very, very elated by I'm very happy. I let it talk simple English. I'm very happy with the appointment of Zeke, General Zianka, to the LDEA. I know it is a mixed reaction back home in Liberia, but Zianka is, you see, Dwalu, one thing is Zianka is not only a military man. You're supposed to know that the military trains you into leadership, into strategic leadership. Zianka was amongst the first class of recruits to the AFL, starting from the same boot level in 2006, rising up into the armed forces of Liberia, being top of his class along with now Major General retired Prince C. Johnson and the rest of them. Zianka was, when I was at the Ministry of National Defense, he was first the Deputy Chief of Staff to the officer in charge, the Nigerian general, and then eventually, became the Chief of Staff, the first Chief of Staff in a new dispensation of the Armed Forces of Liberia. and his deputy was Prince Johnson. We worked closely together. Besides that, we are very good friends. And you know, he is a consummate professional in the military training. I think I was one person who was quite disappointed when he was retired to become the Minister of National Defense. I was also disappointed when Precinct Johnson was retired to become the Minister of National Defense. And then I was also disappointed again when Geraldine George was retired, because I thought that, you know, the wealth of, you know, the growth and experience that I've seen in many of the militaries around the world and interacting with many militaries around the world, I thought that these young people were going to be allowed to grow into the army, bring that army to where it's supposed to be. Don't take it, don't take me, don't misunderstand that they had gotten serious training in leadership, in everything else, in security, everything. They are well seasoned and trained people. But I thought that they would have stayed maybe almost 20, 30 years in the army before. But then, I mean, the powers that be had them retired. So President Weah retired him and made him the Minister of National Defense. And then when President Bouaka came and brought him into from Ministry of National Defense, brought him in as his military advisor. So he's been with the president as his military advisor. You know, I know now people have started, you know, Liberia is so unfortunate. Let me just leave that one. Because people now start claiming professionals now that they belong, that a project now. People project now. People say that CDC project, that CDC people. And I mean, you can imagine how Liberians can think, but that is not the issue. Now you ask a very particular question about the challenges that Zianga is supposed to face. Yes, he is going to face like the challenges that we all inherit, those of us who are privileged one way or the other, coming from a disciplined background to get into government parastatus. Look, because the system you've inherited over the years have been a system that does not account for accountability. Have been a system that the work culture had been some, you know, taken for granted. You know, so we have a lot of challenges in those sectors. But for me, what makes a leader is his ability to overturn that sector and to begin to achieve what he was set out to achieve. One good thing is that Major General retired Zianga has the president's full backing. If you read the appointment, there's been a shift from the reportorial responsibility of General Zianga, that he reports to the president, with even though with advice from the minister, because before the LDA reported directly to the Minister of Justice. Now he reports to the president. That's one. Number two, the training that General Ziagan has, I can assure you that I gave you 2 weeks, the LDA will be straight like needle. I can assure you that. People will not, it doesn't mean that you will not have people with bad habits. It doesn't mean you will not have bad apples within that institution, but I can tell you they will bury it to the extent that, you know, 2 weeks. If anybody has been going to the LDA office and seeing how people operate, how people walk around the place, how maybe sometimes maybe they can be outside and just be sitting, trust me, go there in 2 weeks and see what it will be. That military discipline is coming right back. And he's bringing it to that institution, because he's not going to turn left and turn right to say, oh, whether people will support me, whether I will get confirmation, I will not get confirmation, whether people will do 2029 or not do 2029. The president gave him a marching order. You know, like Minister Samuka has always taught all of us, you know, the military business out here so much. He said that's a marching order. You execute the order as the commander-in-chief has told you. He's told him, he's giving his marching order, he's told him what to do. That will be done. That I can assure everybody. The discipline at that place will change. It will be heightened. If people have the bad habit, they will hide it. And if you are caught, it doesn't mean people will not. If you are caught, you will be dealt with. That is the person I know. That is the person I worked with at least for pretty close to 4 years within the Ministry of National Defense. So, and it is that culture. It is that whole culture. The only disappointment, Dwalu, I have a little bit, probably later on we'll come to that, is the conduct and attitude of some of our people that is bringing down the morale, the confidence of the state security apparatus. Because what it is leading to, unfortunately, I hope we don't go and follow probably what the Ghanaians are doing, gradually going into a military state, militarized state. Because if you start to denigrate, diminish, and make the public to lose confidence in the proper law enforcement apparatus, the police, the LDA, the NSA, all those people, by constantly bringing them down, tearing them down. If the public loses confidence in them, the public lose respect for them. And that's why a couple of times people sit down and say, damn, Liberia has zero control. I've never seen any country that somebody will call a policeman on the street. Somebody will slap the policeman on the street. Somebody will fight the policeman. If you continue to do that, what will you do? You start to turn to the army. And when you start to turn to the military to start to do the policeman work, you gradually now start to militarize the system, which is not good. So probably some of our people, government officials, all the people who are for no reason, if you have genuine reason, but for no reason, just to put all of our police, our security people in one box and just condemn them. And for now, the public confidence is waning. All right. If the president had put another seasoned, maybe even the EPS director, who is a well-seasoned drug enforcement officer, if you are pointing there, maybe people will say, oh, but people saying that because they know what? Army man. So they will gain that respect. But I think what we are doing to our security sector, in the long run, it will bite us as Liberians. It will bite us because people will not respect them. Crime will start to rise again. And if the police start to be heavy-handed, then people start to do all kind of right things. So I think we should look at it indispassionately, but I am very, very pleased with the appointment in that General Tsiangan was already decommissioned. He was already an advisor to the president. He has vast security knowledge. He has served with the National Security Council for years, and he has had the requisite training of leadership into all this. I'm glad for that. But if they are going to take another army man and decommission another army man, just send him to DA, it was going to be a problem for me, because we cannot begin to militarize our state because people are losing confidence in the normal state apparatus of the police and the LDA. Let me stop for it now and give others the chance to contribute.
Thank you. Fatima, let's come to you. Councilor Mann, they say a lot of stuff. And I want to say that I'm one of the persons, as much as I want, because the DEA is a special case. This thing is graduated war. Actually, it was gradually defining this administration. So we got to get a hold of this. Like Councilor Ma, I also believe, even though I have tremendous respect for General Johnson and General Zianka and what they have done, but because our military was so quick to dissolve and begin anew, the likes of General Zianka and General Johnson, with all the education, all the training, very quickly they rose through the rank. To get a general rank, this is not a small feat. But because we have to rebuild a military, they will rush through the process and they got these ranks. Now, we got a DEA, that an army man is going to the DEA. I had the same concern that Councilor Mann had, where we don't want to militarize our civilian apparatus. I want the police to have control. But in the case of the DEA, I can make that exception. I want you to also comment, do you think this is the right decision, given that we know Zianga is a military man, he's going to go out there, and he has to be gung-ho about it, because we got to get hold of the drug issue. But just looking in the future, is this the best route to go?
No, but let me make a correction. Sorry, let me make a correction. No, these guys were not rushed into leadership. They were not rushed into the ranks that they got. They were not rushed into it. Look, I remember all these people who are generals today sitting the highest tests around the world with generals. Zianka at one time was the chief of defense staff of all the defense staff generals in West Africa. You
West
understand? He
Africa.
served that position. They were not rushed. If you know that, that is why the government intentionally kept General Abdul Rahman, the Nigerian, there for years to build these young men. So first they became brigade commanders. They served in that capacity for gradually growing up, and they went to every test in America, in Africa, everywhere they took that, and they fitted and well. And General Ziangan was trusted by his colleagues to be made the chief of ECOWAS over all, or even the most experienced Nigerian generals. Yes, experience for the number of years they served, that one is true. Giving more experience, because the more you serve, the better. But to say they were rushed into becoming generals, no, I don't agree on that.
I understand, Fatima. Before you come, I have to comment. I'm begging you, Councilor Mount. I'm not talking about all the education. Obviously, they're super qualified. My focus is not on the education, and of course, they've gone through all the rank. But I'm talking about normal circumstances. The time it takes to get to that level is 25, 30, 40 years sometimes. But most of these guys did it on 15 years. So I'm just saying we have to consider every single factor, not into any way say playing them down. I'm not talking about the education. Of course, they took all the tests, and this is what is required. But we are trying to scrutinize at every single angle because we want to make sure this is done properly in a way. But what we have now is our best and brightest that we have at the helm. But by comparison, they didn't spend the number of time that is required. That's the point I'm trying to make. Fatima.
Well, I think the president, in his wisdom, chose right. This mayor was a decorated soldier, highly educated, respected by his peers, rose to the rank, retired, served in multiple governments. He served in Ellen government, he served in Bekugbe United, and now he's called to serve. So I think his qualification, him and Prince Johnson, they're on all of the when I think all of them were the batch that Ellen sent away at the time to get educated, and I think he's going to do well. And with the military discipline and the way they're focused and they stay on target and make sure that things are done right, I think really I think he will do well. Um, I actually went to today and I was reading about him, and they said that he was a decorated soldier. They say he was he was the first chief of staff post war for Liberia. And I also learned that it was saying today I was actually reading about this guy, and I was proud that he had a master of military art and science, the U.S. Army Command and General Staff College, Fort Leavenworth, Kansas, USA. They said that he worked. He was very competitive. He did very well, and he worked, and his work experience, the things that he did in Liberia, it was outstanding. So I truly believe for a fact that they even claiming him to be a project of theirs to show that of it he has done well, and I know he will do well for the LDEA. So I'm being, of course, my esquire to say that I think this was one of the president's best pick for now. Yeah.
Thank you, Fatima. And let's come down to you. Now, on the deputy to General Ziankan, we don't know much about her. I'm trying to get some information on the deputy. But I believe this team, and I love that the team will be reporting directly to the president. I love that. It doesn't mean I want the justice minister removed from the chain, but this issue of drugs, we need it under control, Blair. And I believe General Ziankan can get this thing under control. And we wish him well, but by the same token, we have to make sure the guys that are, because General Ziankan will be mostly in Monrovia. The drug issue is too out of the country. How do you think, Jim Blair? Well, what strategy would you recommend that he implement to make sure this thing is getting under control? Blair.
Thank you, I think one of the most intelligent things the president did was to appoint the deputy for operations to be somebody who is directly involved with the LDEA because she was trained as an LDEA officer. She's been in the LDEA. She understands the workings of the LDEA. And one thing I heard from one or two persons, the LDEA had never wanted somebody from outside, but with the nomination of Major General Daniel D. Zianga, with his military background, I think Liberia stands to benefit one of two things. Um, he worked before with General Quincy Johnson also in the military. Okay, he knows the police IG well because the drug fight is it requires inter-security intelligence communication. So I think what he brings to the table also, one of the strategies will be able to align with the NSA, the police, the border, because border security intelligence is very key in drug trafficking operation. So I think one of the benefits that come with General Zianka's appointment is from his security experience. I don't want to say military as a whole because military, police, everything has to do with security. Okay, based on his security experience, he able to rally the security apparatus as a whole, liaise with the rest of the people, the police, the NSA, to see how they can handle this, most especially at our airports, our seaports, and our border ports, because these are the points through which these drugs come into our country. So I think it will be. I think that's the advantage we stand because he's a highly decorated person. He's well respected in the United States and in the international community in the ECOWAS sub-region, and that is one of the advantages we have. He being a command of the ECOWAS military command before, he able to use his influence within the ECOWAS sub-region also to be able to coordinate with colleagues within the sub-region to see how much they can fight the drugs right at the doorsteps of Liberia. I think that's one of the benefits that come with the strategy that he can employ.
Thank you, Ibrahim. One of the things that I frowned upon when President Weah came to power, he retired some of these guys. We pay the God, despite what the CDC boys are saying. These were men that were educated by the Republic of Liberia. This is tax money that educated General Zianga, the likes of General Prince Johnson, and all the generals in our current army that Ellen rebuilt. I want people to understand that these are the people's soldiers. The soldiers belong to the Republic of Liberia. But I want to say this: they were educated by the Liberian people. And when the presidents came in and they just retired these guys, I felt, Abraham, that we did not get enough out of them given the kind of money we spent on them. If I were to do a guesstimation, we spent nothing less than $1 million just to train General Zianka. The Republic of Liberia spent that much money just to train General Zianka. Now we know he would be the best person for the job, and we know given what we have in the country, there has to be a gung-ho. But Abraham, I still have a little bit of concern, the same concern that Councilor Ma has. It's about the militarization of some of these security agencies. They're good. I will make exception with the LDA, given the circumstances currently in Liberia. Do you have any feelings towards that, or do you have any concerns, or do you think this is the right approach given the circumstances in Liberia right now with the drug issue, Abraham?
Thank you, Eduardo. First of all, I think the president made the rightful choice for him to be able to appoint retired General Zianga. I have been knowing Zianga from the days of AME. The brother graduated from AMEZ. The brother was a big brother to me in particular when we was living in Lakwasi. That brother from Lakwasi Zoo. So I've been knowing Zianga from that time when they came to recruit them. Because by that time the AFL come in a community, the soldiers used to come in a community to be able to ask. But one of the things that I strongly believe that Brother Zianga will be able to put into place, like Brother Ambrose said, give it 2 weeks. Give it 2 weeks. That play will be straight, just like iron. That brother is a no-nonsense brother. He's no nonsense. This is a man that was trained by Fourth Liberty military base in the United States. He did not just stop there. The brother went to Fort Bliss military base as well for another training, along with he and Prince Joseph and Geraldine, all of them. So for me to hear people saying, our project, so he have now a living being have become that project. Someone who was trained by the Liberian people resources have now become that project. But furthermore, look, I am concerned in one aspect, and I strongly believe that Bibra Zanga will be able to straighten that out few days or few weeks from now. That has to do with the office space for LDA at the airport. You will recall when they called Biago said that there was no office space for the LDA at the airport at Rabat International Airport. And there was no equipment. So I am just asking our senators for them to be able to give their full support to this general, this retired general, because this man will come. He is coming. He's not coming for play. His entirety, and thank God the president will make it perfectly clear that they will report to him. So I am so happy that a big brother, that we all used to sit down around, and when people used to sit around, people say, your utterance, you used to be careful what to say around him. Now how straight that big brother is. So I am very much happy, and I strongly believe that the drug cartel will be dismantled in a few weeks from now. Let us not forget that we are the making more politicians. They are putting more on Greg, but let us not be ungrateful. Greg have done extremely well, and he is still doing his best when it comes to the drugs thing. So Lord, there had not been a factual information to be able to convince the president by linking any of his officers that Vla. That thing you'll be talking about, it will be Vla. You need to convince the people with evidence. And that's the reason why Biafra is wrong today. Thank you.
Honorable Nangwe, we're going to come up to you. Please mute a little bit for me, brother. Honorable Nangwe, let me come to you up there. We have the deputy to General Zianka. I don't know much about, I believe her name is Rule. I don't know much about her. You have a CC military veteran, a general in the Liberian army that will be overseeing this thing with a civilian person as his deputy. I don't know much about this lady. I'm trying to go out there and get some from her. I know somebody said she hails from Grand Jita County. She was a DEA director out there. I'm still trying to confirm the information. Honorable Nangwe, what are your thoughts on this appointment? I mean, we all know across the country this is a great appointment for the country. But what are your thoughts regarding what President Parker has done to kind of restructure the DEA?
Well, without stating much of what everyone around the table have said, and clearly it's a very, very good appointment. But just before I make my comment, I just wanted to ask both you and Councilor Ma. So when you're in the army, you retire, you stay army man.
No, you're not army man.
Because okay, so the reason I'm asking this is that both retired General Princey Johnson at the NSA and now retired General Daniels Younger now at the LDA are retired army personnel. So I think I'm just referencing the comments, the concerns both of you had, that their appointment might be construed as trying to militarize, civilian positions. I think people move on. They are not taken directly from the army, like in the case of the gentleman I just got relief coming directly from the police to the DEA. So we need to just sort that out. I don't know much about the lady, but I'm sure there might have been some vetting, by people around the president to have made that recommendation for. I think she was in the DEA before all of this happened. So I can't question the judgment of the president on that, but there's very little I may know about her. But there's a couple of things I wanted to talk about. The new head of the LDA and just doing some forward looking. The experience he's bringing to the DEA would be very critical. We all around this table agree that there is much needed reform at the DEA, and the general was involved not just with the new AFL in terms of the leadership, but also the restructuring of the AFL. So my thinking is that he's going to bring a lot of that experience into the LDA. That's something that we need to look at, given everything that he's bringing in terms of command and institutional leadership. He's gone through the rank and file, understand all of the security arrangements nationally and the contacts that he has internationally. Those will come very handy, in the restructuring process. There are issues around integrity and reputation that you all have mentioned that he is bringing, to the DEA, and that will be very, very critical. People will have to continue to trust the leadership, because right now that's integrity issue that is affecting them. Strategic and national security experience is something that he's going to bring into that process as well. I mentioned force building experiences, and then his contacts both in the sub-region and outside of the continent will be very critical. But the other thing I wanted to just mention is some of the things that probably he needs to be focused on, and I think that has to be a discussion, Lualu. What we suggest that he has to look at in a LDA. I mean, he's coming in with a military background, but there are specific issues that will be required to bring the institution to the level we want. And just from the top of my head, of course, we're looking at the need to reform the whole institution. So it's almost like rebuilding it. That has to be something that he needs to focus on. And part of that process has to be a lot about how, integrity becomes a part of that. Intelligence, interagency cooperation, that will be something he needs to put in. How to do it, that's something he needs to do. Training, professionalization. There has to be a lot about rebuilding public trust in the DEA. Right now, nobody, they themselves don't seem to be trusting themselves. So that has to be, it has to be a very professional entity. And part of that thing will be about the way they appear in the public, the kind of training they will receive, the kind of support the government will give to them, so that when they appear, people will have some respect for them. But then there has to be this whole policy alignment. There is a whole new national security strategy that they just went through between 2026 and 2036. Now the LDA is part of the national security apparatus that we have. So how can they fit themselves in? Okay, so you're talking about modernizing the LDA. So, and the last thing for me is that the fact that now the reporting is directly to the president, I think that's a very, very important aspect, because then it brings them up right at the level of any other national security agency. Probably, well, more than even immigration now. So if you are reporting to the chair of the National Security Council, it just says exactly what the president thinking is in terms of he continuing to be on top of this thing. So we wish him well, but if you ask me, I think given all the fragility of that institution, you want somebody with very steady hands, knowledgeable about the issues, to build it in a way that it can stand, the force of time and then the future. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Councilor Man, we'll come back down to you. And I want to say that we all agree, everybody agree. I've not seen one bad comment about General Zianka on social media, and we all believe this is the right person to occupy this space. And I want us now to get in the gutter a little bit on the expectations of General Zianka. You began the conversation that you believe he can straighten that location. We know how the drug issue is rift across the country. Outside of the office. Now, I've been to the DEA before. My cousin ran that place under President Weah. He was running that DEA operation. Despite what anybody says here about Biako was doing an excellent job until this whole brouhaha around this gifting came about. He was doing an excellent job. We know on Biako when Biako first came in, how the DA was in disarray, the drugs proliferation across the country. He got that under control. Councilor Man, do you know of anything, with the exception of the straight hand we've spoken about, that we can expect to see from General Ziankan that will kind of transform the DEA or modernize it? Do you know of anything?
Yes. As I said, having had the opportunity to work with Ziangan for a couple of years, you know, our security institutions over the years have gone through tremendous struggles. Many of them also were not like the military that was completely demobilized and started again from scratch. All right. So it just rolled over and recruiting people. In fact, many of those institutions, the recruitment processes were even compromised. Sometimes they set a standard. I remember at a certain time in the Liberian National Police, there were some high standards, and then they had to reduce it to encourage women to come. They had to drop the standards, and all that. But the military had never dropped its standards. All right. I remember reports of the LDA having many, many volunteers. I mean, can you imagine? You have people volunteering in your strategic national security apparatus, and you have volunteers all over the place. You understand? So that, because if like my former boss used to say, if you have people volunteering in the system, you're not paying them, they'll find a way to pay themselves. All right. So many ways of these things could make the institutional vulnerable. And to run an effective security apparatus as that of the DEA, you need consummate professionals, even from the sweeper. The notion that the sweeper is working in a security installation, it gives you a different mentality of who you are and what your responsibilities are. And I believe these are the things that he will bring. Let us not forget also that Biago, yes, Biago, and I agree with you, Biago has done extremely well. I mean, these things happen, and I'm pleased that they did not find yet, I mean, any link to drug cartel or anything else, but some unethical behaviors, which we will hopefully come to learn later on. But Biago was just the OIC. And then you remember when they went before the Senate and people say, but in this fight and in the partners you're dealing with, you just OIC, you still with the police. You understand? So there are certain things that you will not formally do to the extent because you are not the substantive head of the institution. All right. I believe now that he will have the opportunity to do such. And as I said, knowing him and where he comes from, the background he comes from, and to build a professional drug enforcement agency for Liberia, he is going to set that road on an irreversible track. But I just wanted to say this also. When I talk about militarizing the state, the government is a whole government. We have three branches. We have the executive. The president is doing his part. What is he doing? You may agree, you may disagree, you may say it is superficial, you may say it is nothing he's doing, he's not doing anything, but he's arresting people, he's confiscating huge consignments of the drugs, he's linking both Liberians and foreigners to those drugs. and he has charged some of them to court. That is what the president can do. Arrest the criminal, arrest the fruit of the crime, charge them to court. The court, as another branch of government, can do its part. What is it doing? It is setting out the road now for prosecution to go on so the government can come and prove its case in this term of court. What does the legislature do as a part of the government in this fight? And that is where my disappointment comes, when legislators, rather than exercising their oversight, supporting the government's stride and the partners' endeavor, sit down now and tear everything down that is being done. And when I say militarizing the state, look, it starts little by little. Jesus Christ will not come to be police director until there can be established facts and evidence that the police director we have is complicit in the drug trade or with the drug cartels. You must always give him the benefit of the doubt, because why? You confirm them to do the job that they are doing. If you start to do collective guilt and you start to tear down your own security apparatus, like today I was listening to my brother Clarence Jackson on OKFM this morning. I was just playing back, and he said something. He said he was sitting somewhere. The public confidence is so down in the public confidence is so low in the security apparatus. Police car were passing with siren, the people get there yelling, "Oh, y'all go, y'all drug people, y'all go, y'all drug people." What will happen is you will make the society first to lose respect. Remember, security, well, you know, security is much more about intelligence and people having confidence to bring issues. So when you have drugs in your community, you come and report it. You have crimes here in this company, you come and report it. Right? Liberia, as I said, Liberia is the only country that I've seen openly people challenge police officers and fight them on the street and beat them up. You understand? In America, yeah, you can't even try it. There's no way you will even look at one policeman to come attacking. When the police get on you, he said you are saying, even said this, the Marines, when they come on the, how you can call your vacation team, or come on and go in one necklace, they go P4 there when they start fighting, when the whole bunch comes. Because one man was attacked. When they come, you think a small thing. But Liberia is the only place that we are now killing the public confidence in those sectors. Now you find Zianga, right? I can tell you, when they say, police say nobody should pass on the red light, you'll leave the streets, you'll do this, they come and clean up the place. Who listens? The last time the military went and said, we'll come and clean up red light, nobody should pass here. Who passed there? You see, so that's militarizing the state. When you are undermining the security that's supposed to perform the civil functions of the state, and nobody wants to listen. Now it will reach a time that there will be riots or there will be demonstration. Police will not be able to handle because nobody respects them. The police can start shooting people in the street, but the next thing they will call, you'll call the army people, let the army people come there. When the army people come there, everybody will run away. Everybody will be orderly. You understand? That is where we are going, because why? We have people in the government, senior positions, that look, if you say you want an independent inquiry, what makes the Senate or the House of Representatives or the legislature as a whole to decide to say, okay, we'll put up a board of inquiry and we want to inquire? That's your oversight. If you can convince your colleagues to do that, you can do that. That is where a statesman come in. But if you come on the social media every day, and now you also become a platform guest or panelist, and all you do is when the security sector makes one progress in the fight against crime, you bring it down, you deride them. If they come here, you criticize them, you bring them down. Did you read Senator Amara Corner post about Zanga's appointment? On the one hand, trying to say you encourage it, but on the other hand, this can't happen. It will not do much because, that is what it is. So the negativity is so much with the man that he doesn't even see anything positive going forward. If you believe that by appointing and changing the head alone will not do anything for the institution, then why are you commending the appointment of the head? Why are you commending the appointment of the head? And this is a sitting senator, a sitting lawmaker, a member, I believe, of the National Security Committee of the Senate, a ranking member of the Liberian Senate. So if you continue to do that, opposition people believe that it is politics when you tear down the security of the state. But I can just tell Liberians, if Liberia falls back and Liberia goes back into a pariah and we allow the criminals to overtake Liberia, President Boaga will not suffer. He has lived his life. People like the Edwin Snows and Amar Connors, they will not suffer. Edwin Snow will get on the plane, maybe go Gambia, go Sierra Leone, go sit down there. Amar Connors will get on the plane and come to America. They will not suffer. That you sitting there, who clapping and jeering and booing at the police people, that you will suffer when things happen, when things go bad. When everybody decides to wash their hands off and people say we're not doing that, let a drug cartel take over the country, you will suffer. You understand? And we must see what these people are doing to our country. That is not patriotism and say, I love my country, that's why I'm doing this. You don't love your country, sit in a position of authority, sit in a position of a power, and always bring down the same people who are fighting every day. These people, sometimes they don't sleep. They don't sleep. What they do in the night, what they do to keep us safe. They may not be perfect. The drug, you say people campaign for drug. If drug was not in Liberia, if there was no problem with drug in Liberia, Joseph Boaga was going to campaign against drug? Was it going to be part of the campaign message? Because he knew, and everybody knew how he was destroying the country. That's why he made it a campaign message. And what is he doing about it today? That the other people in government don't see. And then you are a branch of government, a senior ranking official, and you say, because under the guys that I love my country, but every step they make to fight this thing, you try to bring it down. I'm not saying, look, you must keep investigating. If you find any other security person involved, you bring them. When we keep weeding out the bad nuts until we can get everybody not perfect. Odwalu and Mr. Nangbe, that is what militarizing the society is about. When people lose confidence in the traditional apparatus that's supposed to safeguard peace and order in the state, the next thing you will turn to is the military. And I can tell you, if the president had gone to appoint another person from police and say go be OSC or go be permanent appointment to LDA, you are going to hear what people are going to talk again. That you see police people, like Amara say, they see apparatus cannot investigate themselves. So we'll bring, I don't know who we should bring now to come and investigate who. You understand?
Thank you.
That's what I'm talking about when you talk about militarizing the state. And we are doing it to ourselves. And our government officials, some of them are joining other people, even politicians. You want to be president tomorrow. Which country you want to come and rule? Which country? That you will want to destroy your entire security apparatus. Then when you come as president, what will you do? You will recruit new people from where? Now you see people you work with? You know, I don't know how we play in the politics, but we believe that we must destroy everything that's happening so that the people can say, okay, we trust you. Come back, or come do it now. So because now Boaga failed, so come do it. But at that time you have destroyed the entire infrastructure. Why are we doing this?
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Fatima, let me come to you. Councilor Mann said a lot of things that are head on. The police in our country, these guys are working. And we know the gutter that we are being dug out of. And one of the things I want Liberian people to understand, to remove drugs from our society, that's not small thing. The drug we see in Liberia from 2018, when these cartel first came to the country, they are fully entrenched. It means they now dig so deep, we got to root them up. So most of the guys that are causing noise in the country, some of them are partakers or the beneficiary of the drugs that came to the country. Now, the police has to do their job. The president has been very relentless, even when before he brought Ziago on, when that thing happened with my brother AB and with the Fatigas, they were doing a job. It was an internal thing. They were still trying to fight the drug issue. Fatima, if you want to speak to our people, you may disrespect the police today. Now, if the police become a little bit more gung-ho and they start doing the job more aggressively, they will say the police more aggressive. So if don't you do, whatever the police does, it's not going well. But Councilor Mann is stressing something here. If we are not too careful now, we have to increase or bring in the army to address the issue. We are taking away that civilian feeling that we all enjoy today. Now, the question is, what do these guys stand to achieve if they think they dissolve the police and the security apparatus of our society by claiming all of them are criminal, even though most people in the government now, most people in the police now part of this. And whoever is part of it, the president moving them from inside. Not generally go there when they ever saying.
I actually pray that we don't get to that point, but Councilor Ma is right. Sometimes the other day I was just looking on social media and I saw this lady literally hijacking the police officer, trying to fight the police officer. They don't have no respect for the police. But this weekend, the incident that occurred with the young girl at the Invincible Park, I saw the way the police came and handled that situation. I saw the way they intervened and the warnings they were giving me on Monday. They kept telling me, if we don't have, gender and these people, we cannot hold him. If we don't have them to come and bring charges against him, we cannot hold him. Their professionalism and the way they went about the whole process, I think that the police, they are doing well. We need, this whole drug thing. I started hearing people saying, oh, they're not doing this, they're not doing that, oh, they're covering up, they're doing this. But people have to be meticulous. They have to make sure they cross the T's and they dot the I's and make sure that everything, now that we're going, the thing is, in the government itself, they are weeding out people, they are, suspending and dismissing people. It's not a problem. Once they start going to the opposition and start saying, oh, the people from the past government that it happened, and they will start talking about witch hunt. But the thing is, where are the witches? We'll hunt them, because whatever needs to happen to protect Liberia, we'll do that. And so right now, they're not saying much. I truly believe that we need to bring respect back to our police officers. They work too hard for too little for the citizens to be so disrespectful towards them. And I actually think that the police should be armed. Most of the police officers are not armed, so people just take advantage of them. They just look at them and disrespect them. It do it to their own people. Some of them overseas, they'll be shaking when police stop them for even traffic violation, that you will get a slap and they'll get you ticket and go to be checking. But in our own country, they'll talk to the police officers any other type of way. And I'm telling you, Dwalo, do you know that when I'm driving and the police in a police car and they pass by me and they have the siren on, I be scared? I just be scared. And Etiveki be like, why you scared of? I say, oh, Etiveki. Because, I'll be like looking at my seatbelt, because I always like to wear my seatbelt and stuff like that. Just because you have respect for the rule of law. And I think we need to start really teaching that to the young people in college, in high school, trying to teach them about law enforcement, trying to teach them why the police is here to protect, lives and property, and people need to respect that. I really think we need to come back in respecting our officers. They work too hard for too little for us to be disrespecting them. And I've been seeing women all be jacking the police officers up. Like, I saw a woman and a guy, that the woman was literally fighting the police officer, jack him up, and the police officer hand was just up in the air, like, you see what she's doing to me? You see what she's doing to me? You couldn't do that overseas. You couldn't do that to anybody else. So we need to start respecting our officers for what they do for our country.
Thank you so much, Fatima. Mogonje Chia, welcome to the show. I heard what you said earlier, Mogonje. You said the money we won't raise, won't buy more drugs with it. Sometimes. Prince, welcome to the show. Prince Johnson. My man, y'all get those small calls there. It don't bother. You're welcome to the show, but let's keep it civil at the end of the day. Lil Blair, we're gonna go to another topic here. I will start with you. Let's listen to Honorable, unless you got 1 or 2 minutes to comment anything on the drug related issue. I think we have covered most of it, but we have to respect the police. So we're gonna listen to Honorable Gafuan a little bit, and then we'll go to the next topic from the AARD.
Central framework for advancing Liberia's development. I also extend my gratitude to all members of the National Steering Committee and every stakeholder represented here today for your continued partnership and commitment to Liberia's development. Today's meeting provides an opportunity to review progress made during the first year of implementing the arrest agenda and to consider the draft implementation reports for the first and second quarters of 2026. More importantly, it allows us to assess performance, identify operational challenges, and agree on practical measures to strengthen coordination and accelerate the delivery of results. The distinguished members of the National Steering Committee. The implementation reports reflect both encouraging achievements in areas requiring greater attention. We see improvements across several sectors, undergirded by continued macroeconomic stability.
Let me just make sure everybody's muted. Okay, that's excellent. So what are you doing there? If you guys been listening, you've been following with the arrest agenda, what the President Booker has stated, repeated it. He wants everything to be measurable. During this meeting, let me just read a little excerpt from some of the stuff that was being discussed by the president so we can have some response to it. President Joseph Yoman Boakai has called for stronger accountability, efficient use of public resources, and accelerated implementation of government programs, warning officials that Liberians will judge their administration by the results it delivers rather than the excuses it makes. Speaking Tuesday at the National Steering Committee meeting on the arrest agenda for inclusive development in Monrovia, President Boakai and Liberia said Liberia must move beyond poverty and focus on creating the conditions necessary for sustainable economic growth and improved living standards. The AAID was launched in January 2025 as Liberia's National Development Blueprint, with implementation overseen by the National Steering Committee, chaired by the President. President Boakai stressed that national development requires effort from both government and citizens, urging Liberians to take responsibility for their communities and contribute to the country's program. And finally, this is President Boakai speaking, we want to reduce poverty. And if we reduce poverty, where do you want to go beyond being poor? Poverty is poverty. I don't care where you put it. You are poor, and we don't want to be poor, the president said. So the president knew push on the arrest agenda. And Fatima, you're not here. Let me come to you, brother Blair, to begin with. The president focuses, we have the arrest agenda. We have been implementing the arrest agenda for a little over 2 years. Now we have to measure the arrest agenda. We have to make sure everything we have done is measurable. Where we are lacking, we got to make adjustments. We have to fight to reduce poverty. We have to make sure we create jobs across the country. He's recalibrating what he has done in the past. Is there anything additional you think the president should be considering? Or what do you feel about what the president has said so far about the arrest agenda?
Well, I think the steering committee meeting today, it highlights a lot of things. It highlights the progress we've made so far in terms of the RS.
Yeah, Blair, you are very, very bad. You are very, very bad. Hopefully, I didn't transfer my virus to you. I think it's your mic.
Something grounding.
Yes.
Just wondering.
Maybe that headset you got plugged.
In the meantime, let me go up to Honorable Nangbe. Honorable Nangbe, same question. If you were listening to me.
Is it better? Is it better?
Okay, much better. Never mind. Go ahead, Blair.
Okay. Like I was saying, I think the RS agenda the steering committee meetings today highlights a lot of things, inclusive where the progress that have been made in the AAID, the RS agenda for inclusive development that we see all around the country, what is happening now, the progress that have been made, the challenges, macroeconomic stability is really good with respect to the outlook report that came from the African Development Bank and the World Bank as a whole. It also talked about accountability, which is very key in alleviating people from poverty. One thing that it also pointed out, the urgency of projects that are being stalled and that we able to move them a little bit faster, which is very important. It also speaks about the challenge. One of the challenges that we've had, we've depended on sourcing monies from outside to be able to facilitate most of our projects that we are carrying out. We also speak about how we can meet those challenges to move from sourcing finances to from outside and sourcing finances from within, from within the economy to be able to finance most of our projects. So I think the president, what happened today It highlights a lot of things to Liberians as to what is happening in the country. But what I like about this also is that in the past, even on Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, who took Liberia from nowhere after the war, coming to George Weah, we didn't see these things happening in the open, where the government is brought to the people. This is part of the decentralization process that the president is striving towards. So, what we saw today, bringing the diplomatic corps together, including cabinet ministers and other stakeholders, it is very important for the forward movement of our country at this time, because people want to just keep our heads into one thing that is happening that the government is trying to settle. I think it's time that we have to distract now and bring the conversation to the real happenings in the country, the gains and the challenges, how we can overcome them. Dualu, Councilor Ma, please take over.
Can you hear me, Blair?
Yeah, now you're clear. Yeah, you're there. Yeah. Councilor Ma.
Esquire, you're
Yes,
muted.
So Sam, I was saying that maybe you could give us an assessment of the review of the AID thus far and the important aspects that were pointed out during the. I'm sure, I don't know if you were there or so, but if you can give us an assessment of what you think has transpired so far.
So this is normal.
First, I told you that your equipment. Go ahead, Sam.
This is normal practice, especially for programming, where at a specific given time you take a break and try to look back in terms of what achievement has been made against your plans. The AID was officially launched by the president in Buchanan, I guess, last year. And then we are completing 1 year of the implementation. So you have to stand back and look at what is happening. And there could be adjustments to be made in terms of strategy, in terms of strategic actions and activities, and maybe there might be some commitments that you've made and it's not aligning, or there are new issues that are coming that you want to take on board. But all of these are normal processes where you have to take stock in terms of what has been achieved. So what happened today was exactly that. You heard the president talking about submission of reports, because if you don't support reports, us that do work as leaders and members of these different sectors, agency, if we don't feedback in terms of the commitment that we have in the different aspects of the arrest agenda, then it's difficult for the steering committee to have a clearer picture in terms of what has been achieved. So today, that submission was made. I think it will be important, Dwalu, that we ask maybe people from the secretariat, or probably preferably the Minister of Finance, to come here so that we can have a discussion with him, so that we know, once the report is collated, that we know exactly how much progress has been made in this first year of direct implementation. We have seen that in our budgeting processes, there have been a lot of serious commitments, especially in the priority areas. Every year there are increases, so we should be able to account on how these monies were spent. The commitments are 5-year commitments, that goes to up to 2029. And, this meeting just kind of putting together what has been achieved. So once a panel report is written out, then that is compared now against, for example, if you say in the electricity sector that by the end of the reporting period, which would be 2029 or so, you have connected, for example, 10,000 homes. How do we know that we are on our track So, for example, if we in the energy sector report that we've done zero connections, then that means that's a problem. If in year one you've done zero connections, then we have to understand why there hasn't been any connection. Is it because of maybe you don't have the kind of financing, or what's the problem? Let's adjust it, because from a national perspective, making sure that citizens have access to electricity is a very, very important agenda, in making sure that, the lives of citizens are improved. So this exercise is to be able to allow us to understand exactly whether we are on the right track. Otherwise, then we'll have to make some adjustments.
Thank you, Councilor Mann. You're chiming in on this thing, the recalibration. I love that the president is visiting this thing literally almost mid-year, well, mid presidency, to see where they are. And Honorable Nangwe described this perfectly. So, for instance, if he's supposed to electrify 300 new clinics across the country, but he has only electrified 75, let him come and explain to the Liberian people, or explain to the president, where are the obstacles, where are the barriers, how can we get it to the 300 desired amount? Is it a financing issue? Is it a transportation issue? And those things are layered, and then recalibration is done. I think this is the right way to go about it, and I think this should be done quarterly, if you ask me. But let me hear your take, Councilor Mann.
Look, Joalo, first, at least I was part, from the rule of law sector, in the processes of putting together the AID, and I know, and I was fortunate to be at the launch in Grand Bassa County in 2025. I think it's good that the president is now waiting for the midterm, because if you say it was launched in 2025, the midterm review would have been 2027 or thereabout. But it's good that the president is not waiting for that time. It shows, first thing, the commitment from the leader that, look, what we set up to do, we need to do. Will we achieve everything? No. But significantly, we need to do. And even before these kinds of review or these kinds of reporting come up, there are certain areas and certain things that I always say on this program that were very cardinal to the president, all right, that must be measurable. So, for example, the president talked about eradicating poverty or reducing poverty. Now, if you are reducing poverty, there are certain things that are essential to be put on a front burner, so that it's the catalysts that can spur growth, economic growth, and investments. And what are those? That's the roads, electricity, water. All right. Primarily, these are the things that investors will look at. What is the cost for bringing a factory to Liberia rather than carrying it to Sierra Leone or to Cote d'Ivoire? All right. Well, Liberian got no good roads, but then Ivory Coast, the roads are super. So let me carry my factory to Cote d'Ivoire. All right. Oh, Liberian got no good electricity, no electricity there, but Cote d'Ivoire got electricity and Sierra Leone got electricity. Let me carry it to Sierra Leone, because if I go, I can't depend on generator. And that's what our people need to understand and know. And that is why the president look at those binding constraints and say, look, these are the things when you put in place, then you can attract many big people, companies to come directly to invest in your country, because what cost of production will be low. And that is why investors look for. People don't just come to just spend money in your country, they want profit. And they want that the cost can be minimal so that the profit margin can go up. All right. But also, Dualu, in the meantime, and you see in many of these areas, we have been able to touch or see or feel the tangibles. In the energy sector, we know, we said it over and over here, the progress that LEC has made, that RREA has made, connecting homes. We're seeing it every day. In the road infrastructure sector, we're seeing it every day. We see the roads are being better. We see what is happening on the roads. We're seeing it in the healthcare sector. We're seeing the fundamental pillars that are being put together, the kind of hospitals. Now, healthcare workers having a conducive working environment because of the electricity that they have in their clinics. So now they can work under lights and better conditions. All right. We're seeing diagnosis centers being built so that people, people can sit down again. When your foot starts swelling from elephantiasis, then you say that somebody wish me, they put something down and walk on. Then you say that they or Bruli also be giving you heart, and then you say somebody put something down and walk on. You understand? So we're seeing that happen. We're seeing that happen in education. All right. We're seeing the efforts being made in education, standardizing our school curriculum, making sure we have professionals in the classrooms. People may not see those things as tangible, but they are very important because the children from the grassroots, that is where the education foundation is built. If you don't give them solid education from the grassroots when they grow up, you can't put it in the head. You can't teach old dogs new tricks. You understand? But in as much as that is happening, there are still some major areas that the president campaigned about that, as I sit here today, I don't know what is happening in those sectors. All right. Number one, I can tell you agriculture. I don't know what is happening in the agriculture sector. I don't know what we have significantly done from the day Joseph Baga took office in January of 2024 up to now. I don't know what we have done. I get here's a machine coming, there's one coming, but what have we actually done? All right. How many farms, how many farmers we've helped? What have we actually done in agriculture? Everybody says, oh, Baga can fail in agriculture because that was his area. So what have we actually done? What are the tangibles that are out there in agriculture? All right. In job creation, the president says we must create jobs. Everybody say, all that in a row we eat, that LEC we eat, that all the one we eat. What's up with the job? I have said that on my own and said, look, it is not possible for you to be building a new overhead bridge for cars to pass, that I'm walking bridge in Congo Town, right? Overpass in Congo Town, that the people who are working there were not people who were unemployed. They were not working somewhere else and yet took them and brought them to continue the work under that bridge. That people who were employed, how many are they? It's not possible that the private fault contract, the roads are being built from St. Paul Bridge to to Bowater side, to the Lofa area. People who are working there were not people who are already working for private fault in some place, get brought and get put in there, say start working from here. There are people who have gotten new contracts. All right. What is the statistic? How many? It may not sound big. Look, it doesn't matter if you say, look, in the last 3 months, we created 100 jobs. That's new job, that new employment, and new opportunity you are giving to people. The people, the RREA have gone to Sino. The water people have gone to Grand Gide, other places. What are the 5 persons working who are getting new employment? Those five people, before their families were not eating. They were struggling to survive, but now they got something to get up in the morning and say, I'm going to work. Where are they? What is the level of employment around the country? I've said this on this program over and again. We don't have that statistic. People say, oh, Ministry of Labor get a statistic, they're doing that statistic. I don't know whether the judgment day will bring it, or maybe they're waiting for the president to go to do State of the Nation address and give him some numbers, and people just say, these are the numbers. But you see, when you do these things, Dwalu, you give your people hope that, oh, this agenda is working. And so we have the hope that once it gets better, maybe you are 20% right now or 10%. If you get that 10% and you got this kind of hope going on, imagine what would people will expect when you get to 20 or 30 or 40% or even 50% of the arrest agenda. Then people will believe in their country. People will know that there are good things happening in their country. People will have the hope that, oh, but by the time this thing reaches here, I'm a second plan now. Probably I'm going to school because I know this thing will be developed, and this is where I can get in find an employment to work, because I believe the way it is going and the jobs that are being created, this is an opportunity that I got to prepare for. But we're not doing so. We're not giving all those tangibles that are happening. I don't know why people are keeping it to themselves. And people want people to go be begging and, oh, please come on program. No, I don't beg anybody to come on the program. You got something to offer the people. Maybe when it hit the president hard, maybe he will know and tell his cabinet ministers what to do. But at certain sectors, you don't know anything that's happening. Look at the initiative that our EA and Water and Sewer have taken. When they move out, they do little videos. You may not, but I think probably professionalize certain people, because like job creation for content creators. They got professional people you can carry around. They do your videos for you in these areas. You pay them. They are librarians. The earnings they're getting, so that they promote. And when you put those things out, people see what is happening. People see the number of employment that is going on Dualu. But just to be talking it, and we read a speech and say yes. Look, the only tangibles I know I can vouch for are the roads. And I believe the public works minister, who says that this coming dry season, the country will be an industrial zone. It will be a construction site, so that when people get on Facebook and they're building a bridge and they say you pass on the side, it really get muddy, then they say they can pass in the mud, they go pull quota there, so they can pass on the side of the road for quota. Every small thing we want to complain. The building overpass. They have creation and bypass. They be passing it really heavily. They play muddy. Like bro, making war in the mud now. They put it on Facebook. Oh,
man, they put crush right onto that play, man. Start breaking that thing there. That normal practice.
Why got
The
crush right?
crush on the normal practice.
People not building
another road.
On that one, I disagree with you, Councillor.
I disagree. They're not building another road. I just a bypass. They're really there. You can pass on the thing. What
No, that bypass. So that road is going to be paved eventually.
What road going to be paved?
That bypass. That road going straight to Oro. They're going straight to Oro.
All of those things should be within the framework, Councillor. Councillor, people are going to work. Councillor, people are going to work. The possibility of somebody getting out of a taxi and a close get muddy up while you are already in Central Monrovia.
Thanks the full price right over there.
Look.
You know
where people come from in Liberia? The pass of Liberia, people come from go to work.
We can't keep our country backward. We can't keep it. It's the same as saying somebody for the states how the person is still a youth. Hey, Councillor.
No, and they give you a bypass. That's a construct. It's temporary. It's temporary.
It's temporary.
You're not winning that one. Let me stop it.
I'll put deserve some sense of dignity.
Go down all the roads now. Even the bypass.
No, that one will go crush right on it. We'll talk again. We'll put crush right there.
Where are you? I'm go down the road. I'm putting no crush right there.
Okay, I can't talk because when I come here, go there. So when I go there, I gotta mute. We are about to go to the final portion. In fact, the executive mention website just published this. It's just a little additional thing now. And I agree with Councilor Man, not on the road thing now, but that road thing, I believe we should do something on it. But I agree with Councilor Man about how we got to really be very explicit with what is happening in the country, especially defining the amount of jobs created. I agree with Councilor Man in the agricultural sector, especially a portion. Somebody posted jobs. We talk about jobs here every single day. These things have to be very vivid, and we explain it to our people. This has just been published on the Executive Mansion website. We'll just talk about it a little bit before we go to the phone lines. This is coming from President Bwaka. He said, we must do what is right. President Bwaka directs his officials, warns that delays and inconsistencies will be unacceptable. August 17, 2026. This is for the guys that are listening on the radio. Montreal City Hall, President Joseph Yema Bwaka has directed government institutions implementing a rest agenda for inclusive development to move beyond plans and rhetoric and deliver measurable results, warning that delayed, weak performance and implementation gaps will no longer be tolerated. The president made the caveat today, Tuesday, August 17, 2026, when he convened the National Steering Committee, marking the completion of the first year of the implementation of the government arrest agenda for inclusive development. So basically, in summation, the president said, we got to double time. We got to speed up what we are doing. We don't have time to waste, and we have to make sure that people feel the results of what is going on. Let me come to you, my brother Abraham. Is the president right? Do we need a double time? We don't have a lot of time, and you can't give excuses. If you're doing a job and you don't have the proper tools, you got to make some noise about what is going on because we need results. The president said results, no excuses. Abraham, your take.
Daru, I strongly must agree with the president in urging all of his cabinet ministers. Those are now working. Those that are not working, they need to double up. And those that are working also, they need to double up. But like the president previously said, look, we as Liberians, we're quick to feel complacent at a certain point in time. So, by the president issuing that statement to his directors and ministers, I strongly believe that that statement was in place. And I strongly encourage all of the ministers, even those that are not working, I encourage them for them to start doubling up now, because very soon, when this president take action against you, you're gone for good. You're gone for good. Don't be lackadaisical in your job duties. This job, it is an opportunity. There's a lot of players on the bench. A lot of players that are on the bench that are warming up that will very soon be replaced by you that have been on the field playing. So if you are not producing, if you are not giving the president the result that he needs, the president will definitely replace you with an energetic young man who is just warming on the bench. And I agree with the president on this. Thank you.
Thank you, my brother. Mr. Thomas.
How people in the class, they student again.
Oh, Lord, man, you hear what
I say, boom on the weekend, you know, pressure flow wherever, well, money, you know,
I mean, man, I'm joking. But I want to say this, though, Blair. I want to say this. Look, some of you, sometimes I watch your thread and you guys are writing. Sometimes we are not criticizing to downplay or bring down anybody. We are scrutinizing so we can improve it, because we all want Liberia to improve. So, for instance, when I say, it requires more years, it doesn't mean I don't respect what the general has done, for example. Or when somebody else said, listen, we need to make sure we build more prison. It doesn't mean the person that has the prison, we're downplaying it. It just means we need more prison, because that prison we got is old. And this is 2026. We have not built a modern facility. And maybe one day I will be in jail. I won't be in a proper place where I don't get crocro. I don't get all kind of disease. The jail not for one person, it's for everybody. So we should all fight to make sure the jail fine. This is the whole point, is to improve the system. That is the whole aim of this show here, is to protect Liberia's image and improve the system. Not protecting or letting anybody go by the wayside. Somebody mentioned yesterday, listen, this year bringing in the labor minister. Like I said, the platform is open to anybody. In fact, we have extended this invitation to the Honorable Kone, Honorable McGill. Whenever they want to come on the platform, let them come. Let's discuss Liberia. It is okay to go out there and write whatever you want to write, whether true or not. We know your nefarious intentions. Look, to my people that are posting on social media, I say, oh, Mr. Dwalo, we don't expect this from you to be on a platform where government official who are drug dealer, you there with them. Listen, if somebody selling drug, what I want got to do with me? Somebody selling drug, this when they draw money. I don't care about things that don't worry me. You got to understand this. Each man will account for his own deeds. I cannot control what a grown person does. If someone says something on the platform against one of a comment and I laugh and I want me you there, you go, you send me whole pamphlet in my inbox. If it's funny, I will laugh. You can criticize me too. I don't care. The only thing I will ask for anybody in Liberia, do all your criticizing, say your also try, do everything. But don't take my hand and be your pepper in my mouth. I will spit it out every single time. Before we go to the phone line tonight, anybody got anything to say before we go to the phone line? Blair, anybody let me mute.
Yeah, Dwalu. The fact here is that, like what the finance minister said today, and I thought he said, the National Development Plan remains a central framework to advancing the AAIB. It is a fact. It is very important, and some of these projects that are delayed. And one thing that is very important also, Dwalu, like we said, in the midst of these things, we are talking about the urgency of these projects, and it should be done in a way that it really benefits the people. Concrete projects. Some people see this thing as a mean now that every agency now that Mo Ali is doing a concrete work that people see around the country. So one or two persons will send the footage or the video to Mo Ali. Mo Ali will put it up. We know Mo Ali is working. Okay. We see from the finance ministry area, we see from the public work area. Okay, even though we see that it's not good, we critique, not criticize, but critique it at least for it to be better the next time. Okay, because
We are not here to praise the same. We are here to also be able to tweet what we see is not good to tweet it for them to see it. But you will see some people also, Dwalu, the people we working someone for camera to go to that area. Oh, what they call. Those are the people the president was talking about today. These people need to beef up the work. You can't say you're working and people don't see what you are doing. When I start to name now, they will say, "Oh, you government friendly president." It's not what they call it. But some of these places, look, like Mr. Nangwe goes to local county and show and give off a 10 million United States dollars solar, okay? Where the people in Gola, Vauna enjoy from it too, Gola, all those places, they are enjoying it. You go to Sando, the people that many times you already pay, but they're already enjoying some solar system. You go to Nima, they may not provide. The people in second bala, they can go off. These people, they carry cameras around. We can beat on them and say they carry cameras around for nothing, but some of these people, but the fact is that, yeah, Sonny just protecting some of these people somewhere. And right now, what I'm looking at, we want result, not to be protecting people. Actually.
No. So, Dwalu, in a time of despair, as a leader, what you do, you give your people hope. Right? Look, and me, that you're in let call me, if I know the need, I'll call you. All right. I'm not saying they're not doing it, but I say I've not seen it. I don't see what they do. Look, I'm amazed, for example, the number of Liberians in the diaspora, especially in the US, that are importing things like palm oil from Liberia. Things like palm oil. Many Liberians importing palm oil from Liberia. Are there other produce that you can import from Liberia? Even though they are importing it in the raw gallons like that, all right? But it could lead to some processing that people can also package. You understand? Look, probably the peanut butter jar and thing before. I remember when I was in Accra, what the people used to do when they grow the grumpy, they pass it, the passion when they finish passing it, so now they peel it, get salted grumpy and the other one, they get found bottle. They get put it in the bottle with the salted grumpy and the one salted grumpy. They get put in some any mineral bottle, then they get changed the label first. That's what they were doing. They start doing that thing gradually, until they started to produce bottles with those labels. So when you go now, for you to see people bring cashew nut, the imported peanuts and things, on the shelf, now they are exporting it. In this country, the people think like they think they dokun, they kinky and thing, they export it here. You see it, they package it nicely. The same palm butter, the palm nuts, they put it in can, they can it. The same palm butter we got in our bread, same palm nuts, they can it. They put it, then when we go to the African store, we say we want a Ghana palm butter. Yeah. So what is it that is happening in our agriculture sector? Because when people see that we have these produce, all right, then people can say, oh, but let me carry a machine or a small factory that will start producing the palm. Maybe I will get the hashes in it, or I will do it and put it in can and ship it, export. That foreign exchange for people there, the market for the people who are marketing. Look, I went to Jordan, the kingdom of Jordan. The guys were trying to grow vegetables in the desert, bananas and things. The men say, look, if you people could do this in Liberia and export it, we get banana and plum and mangoes and all that thing in Liberia. Then the plum season, the plum can be wasting on the ground. It can be wasting on the ground. All right? What are we doing with these? These are strategic thinking to see what do you have, and those things are low-hanging fruit. You come to the place here, I eat the people corn. I say, what in this? So that corn there, everything that okay. That corn there, that all the things say, all the things are tasting false. All the things are tasting, but we got real things. I mean, I'm telling you the truth. All right. So we need to see these kinds of things. So tell us, over the years, in the rice sector, these are the interventions that the Agriculture Ministry have made. This is what has been produced. This is what it is used for. Maybe in the animal husbandry sector, yeah, we have bought 200 cows. We're going to start this one. Fine. In the poultry sector, we are doing this. So tell us what it is that we are intervening in, because the ministry is getting a lot of money from donors. What is the money being used for? I was reading an audited report today about the Star P program under the Ministry of Agriculture. What are we using them? What is happening? What is the result? What are the results of these monies that are being paid and pumped into this sector? And it goes to other areas. Health and sanitation. The health ministry part, we can see it. Thanks to JMB son. Azibo, he and the health minister now, the party now, maybe that a new Oma. Azibo can be all the way with the health ministry now. He's going to all the places, but it shows the country what is happening. Oh, yes. And we are proud to say, yeah, we are getting 2 diagnostic centers. The big hospital now for redemption is going to be finished in Cardway. Yes, we are proud of that. Those are things we are seeing. These are the tangibles. But the job sector, and maybe every day I will come, nobody must say I hate Nimba people because I was born in Nimba. I grew up in Nimba. And I always told people if there was university at that time in Nimba, I would never have gone to Monrovia for university. So Nimba is my blood. Nobody should say we hate Nimba people. But I'm telling you, the job statistics, we need a quarterly job statistic for our country. Every quarter, we need to know how many new jobs were created, how many jobs were lost during that quarter. We need to know. That's how the country grows. That's how the country, and then you know your weaknesses, and then you can build on it. We don't think everything will just be rosy. Everything will not just be fine. So when people come and say, oh, you know, like the government don't talk hard. No. If I see that you're not, because it's the country that we are building. We're not building individuals. It is the country. All right. And let me just say kudos. I forgot to say this, but congratulations not only to Ziangan, but the 2 deputies. You know I'm so proud of Dwalu, that the first time in the history of Liberia, no, not in the first, because we have police director who are a woman, but the deputy for operations in the security apparatus, a woman. So you know that I get know how to kick dust. I know Precious, but she's being humble enough. But Precious, as I said to you in the Facebook post, yes, God is good. But trust me, God does not use useless vessels. God uses people who are prepared. You prepare yourself. You're showing now that a woman can do it because you had a commitment and a dedication to do it. And so this is the time, your opportunity, your preparedness has met up with the opportunity. So it's the time for you to perform. And to my brother Prince Mobile, a super cop, serious intelligence, one-time head of CID of the National Police. I mean, my hat's off to you people. Make your country proud. Precious, know that you're not only serving Liberia now, you're serving the women folk. The people who think that women cannot do this kind of job. People who think that women must just be sitting back in the background. They must just be subject. You are the operation. They may administration. Because everybody think that women can just go sit down in administration. But you are the foot soldier. You are the one in the field. You are deputy for operation. And we are so proud of you. And I'm sure the women folk of Liberia will be very much proud of you, and even prouder when you start to kick dust and take the drugs out of our country. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Man. Thank you so much. Let me mute you guys for a second there. I don't want to spoil anything. I know what's going on. But Councilor Man, you're right. And I love the caveat you attached to the disclaimer you had to saying something. Don't want to say I hate this person because we do it in our society. That should go without saying. If Dwalu is running the entertain Liberia and Dwalu not doing a good job, you criticize Dwalu, it don't mean you hate Golapera people or you hate Basel people. We need to stop that. We got to keep saying this because it should go without saying. We need the statistics from the labor ministry. This is something that we must have. You cannot make proper decision without statistics. And I also want to join Councilor Man to say congratulations to all the appointees. This is very important. We expect results from you guys, and we'll continue to be here to say, listen, while we get more drugs happening in Bopulu and all the way in Nima, the drugs continue to increase while Moria going down, we will talk it. That doesn't mean we hate you. We just want you to address that as well. We understand we don't have all the resources across the country, but we expect you to maximize the resources that will be given to you so we can produce the kind of results for our people. Again, we're going to say it to the Justice Ministry, to the Labor Ministry. We need statistics. I'm pretty sure there's a division. I don't know whether Legis is responsible for this or who's responsible for generating the data that you can make decisions with. I don't know how you're making decisions with that data. And we need information to be able to bring to our people. Once again, man, I want to thank all of you guys for always popping in here. We'll take a few calls. Harris is not here today. If you're listening in, let's take a few calls from you guys from across Liberia. The number is on the screen. You can also call that number on WhatsApp as well. You can call me directly. Let's hear from you, and let's hear what you have to say this afternoon regarding everything that was discussed here today. While I'm waiting for call, I'm going to say this. We talked about the president's vision for the country, obviously the new appointment, General Zianka and Precious Rule as the deputy of operation for the LDEA. Every single person in the country, in fact, the focal point of the entire country right now is on the LDEA. So they're not small jaw, they're not big jaw. Everybody elbow on you. And we pray General Zianka does his best and he can produce some results. Once again, if you're working in the DEA right now, it's time for you to straighten up, cross your T's, dot your I's, because if you mess around, you're going. Call it your life, your name and where you're calling from.
I'm Sibwe Nama calling from North Dakota.
Welcome, sir.
Yeah, thanks for giving me the opportunity. And just to add to Councilor Ma, the Housing Authority Director, or whosoever he is, look, nothing I'm seeing, the only thing, every time project workshop, I don't know if he constructed any house or houses. Another thing I want for the government to prioritize are the civil servants. Generally, I always say this, they are the beneficiary of the economy. They will determine what all the roads we are building, all the construction of roads, every other thing we are doing. If these people are not pleased, generally, even increasing few people's salary and leaving the majority of. Seriously, I know the president says it's not a job is not for election, but equally so in the future, we want the government to continue. The civil servant is a large constituent. We need to do everything to increase the people's salary. If we don't do it, honestly, it will be so challenging for us, regardless of the development in the future.
Thank you. Thank you. I understand your recommendation, but we got to take things into context. We don't have a lot of money, but yes, we need to increase the salary, but we got to also factor that the money not there. All right, brother. Thank you so much. Calling your live, your name, where you calling from?
From Georgia.
Welcome, sir.
Yeah, I'm just concerned about the level of lawlessness in Liberia towards the police.
Thank you.
People don't respect the police in Liberia. You find people jumping on the police, trying to beat them up and do a whole lot of other things. You find women even jumping on the police. This is unacceptable. You don't do this thing, you don't do those kind of things in developed countries.
No.
I live in the United States, and I know exactly nobody will ever dream about even going to attack a police officer. But they do those things in Liberia and get away with impunity. This is so sad for our country. People have to begin to realize that the police should be a friend of yours. The police is not somebody that will hate you to do anything wrong to you. But people are very lawless in that country. And just for my example, again, the IG has to take the police very seriously. Just imagine the other day when the mobile Malu happened the other day. Can you imagine an IG? Oh, Malu, bring the arm. Malu, I want you to bring the arm. Who does that in any kind of developed country? They will sit there and call on somebody and say, Malu, I want you to bring that gun. Malu, I want you to bring that gun. You don't do those kind of things. So that even weaken the police. So he has to begin to think very, very, very seriously to see how he will defend his police officers. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Calling your live and even where you calling from?
Well, thank you, my brother. The need is Jerry's James Dobley calling from Springfield, Mass. Councilor, thanks a lot. Some of the people, President JNB get a position. I don't know that Susu Bangwell, people get keeping money and they say December they go eat. They made you director somewhere you are not functioning. You did a market more are you playing? The other people that get tattoo, right? Not doing nothing. Begin to observe some of you guys who are not coming to expose what you're doing for the general public to know you're working in line with the opposition. That's what I'm noticing. So if you're doing something good for the country, please take upon your time. Facebook, where everybody go reading, oh man, I don't know how to read it, try to post something that people look at it. But whole day, you say project, some of you get seen, some of you don't do anything, so you're working in with the opposition. Let me use it, media to say, congratulations to my Riverside brother, Siaka, brother, trust me, you need my make opera. I know what you can do, see you, man. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you so much. Caller, you're live. Your name and where you calling from? Hello, caller. You're live. Your name and where you calling from? Yes, the whole country right now. Our bones Yankan, and we praise Yankan does well, and the deputy precious rule as well. Caller, you're live.
Good evening to all of you guys tonight. I just want to add up to what the first caller has said. You know, when we were campaigning, we said, the harmonization, we will try to put your pay stuff and back and all of that. And most of the people, majority of our people are complaining. Some of them are still making $150. Some of them are still making $75. And it's good that we're doing development, but let us also look on the way, because these were things that we said when we were campaigning. I'm so sorry that what her name is not on the show again. She has left. One of my own mom really, really wanted to say thank you to her for that girl that it beat, and she just got there on time, and she took that case that girl went to the hospital. She was well treated. She called me. She wanted Fatuma. Okay, Fatuma. She wanted Fatuma number. I said, I don't have Fatuma number. She said, how about Dwalo? You don't have. I know Dwalo will be having Fatuma number. I said, I don't have Dwalo number. Besides his number on the street. She said, I really need to tell her thank you, because I was watching her. Look at the way that man beat that girl, and the girl was bleeding. And she just got there, and she made sure that girl went to the hospital, and police came. So she was so happy that Fatuma did that. So I told her, I promised her that I'm going to call in if Fatuma was on the show, but she left already. So, Dwalo, to all of you guys, let our president also look the way of the other people. You know, they've been very, very campaigning about it. There's a manifestation. How can you be working and you're only taking you $150? It's not an easy thing. And another thing, before I can leave the line, all of these things that these guys are saying, and Amara, them, and the other people, they are just doing these things to divert our attention to them when you come on the show, so that it will just only be about them. Let us try to leave them a little bit and talk about what is happening in the country, the development that is going on, and what we will also recommend to the president and all of these things. I think it will be best, instead of just coming on the show and just taking the whole show, but then that's what they want. That's why all day they're taking onto Facebook and writing these things.
Thank you. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. Focus on the task. I agree. Keep our eyes on the prize. Caller, you're live. Your name and where you calling from?
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. Focus on the task. Hello?
Yeah, you're live, sir.
Oh, thank you. My name is Steven Asamora, and I call from Richmond, Virginia.
You're welcome.
Thank you. I just want to say thanks to you guys for this beautiful and brilliant show. I listen to the show religiously. And my attention has been drawn to this the appointment. It's a good appointment made by the president. And I'm excited to see young people into it. And one thing that you said concerning Amara, you know, I read a post from Amara not too long, and he called down some names and unskilled. My question is, I don't know if a PhD holder can be an unskilled person, or a master degree holder can be an unskilled person.
because I have a PhD in leadership. So will you consider me as an unskilled person? Sometimes we just want to respond because they just want to respond on things. I think Daniel Samuel is doing his piece of job. I mean, this is a man that I have no credibility in. Who brought him to Liberia is Omar Salih, who knew Amara around Liberia territory when it comes to political or governance or be a state actor. It was Manaseri that brought him on board. So if President Walker would bring Daniel Sano on board, it's of course he came through the door, the same door that Daniel Sano came through. So referring to him as an unskilled man, a master degree holder as an unskilled, I mean, I find it laughable. But let me say thanks to Big Brother Guzman that I know from Ghana way back. I want to say kudos to you, Anthony, and I enjoy your presentation and your input on the show. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Caller, you're live. Your name and where you calling from. Hello, caller. Hello, caller.
This is Musu.
Hey, Musu, how you doing, Mama? You're live. Your phone quality is very bad. I don't know if you come closer or.
Calling their name, they feel like you're promoting them, you're making them famous. I think we need to concentrate on the most important thing. So people that are not important. And mostly the former first president, sure, you're talking rubbish. So the people are not important. And they all concentrate on what you're doing for us and what you're doing for the country. So, because you're talking about all the people, you're promoting them. Not only one, you also want to promote them. But so many good things going on in Nigeria. And Tuano, I really don't know. I will keep saying, I really don't know. When they call to bless you for the work that you're doing. God will call your homes. God will call your family. They are going out and they are coming in. They will be called by the blood of Jesus. Amen. Thank you for the good work you are doing for Mama Nigeria. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Yes, we don't call it your life. Guys, somebody wrote something, said, what are we saying? No. Obviously, I want civil servant salary to be increased. Nobody will ever say he wants more than $50 in the country. Obviously, now call it your life. Your name, where you calling from? Hello?
Hello.
Hi, you're live.
Hi. Who are the two women behind Abraham there? Who are they?
Like Abraham Jr. Now, Mama got it. He will respond to you. Try your own.
Okay. One question I have is, who owns that Faruma building? That building is dirty and it needs to be taken
I think of a next door. They went to call for that building.
It's an eyesore.
I agree.
Needs to be cleaned. And not only that, people, there are some people that just building huge buildings and leave them. They don't paint them. They don't take care of them. And I don't care how you keep the place clean. When you look at a building, they just make the place look filthy and look. It's an eyesore. That's how I want to say. You're really trying to do something about it. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Yes, these are some of the costs we are talking about. You see your observation in the country. You go ahead. The program should be need JMB reloaded. Yeah. Anything you won't call it cheap, but you can't join us and listen to Liberia. Somebody also said, Eduardo, make sure when you can also use WhatsApp to call this number. I will put a +1 there going forward.
Yeah. Americans got that bad habit.
Follow your life.
Good evening. My name is Mondo Dua from New Jersey.
Your life, sir.
My attention actually has been called to the appointment of the new deputy for administration at LTE.
She's an operation of you talking about the female for operations.
Yeah, operation.
Yeah.
People are talking about saying a girlfriend. But I don't know. When we're talking about ethical issue.
Let me ask you, wait. Where I don't understand on peddling other nonsense again.
Well, I'm not calling anybody.
Okay, go ahead.
So I don't think this is ethical issue because Senge is heading LTE and this lady is going Senge is in EPS and she's heading LTE. I work in the United States for the Department of Health. My wife works for the health department, but we are not in the same department. I'm not supervising her. And working in the same place, there's no violation. I don't see the violation there. So I don't think President Buckeye has done anything wrong. He made no mistake to appoint Precious. And I believe Precious come with a wealth of education, competence, and experience.
That's right.
Job. So I think we should be looking at competence. We should be looking at her commitment and others. Because even in the past administration, I'm not calling it, but there were officials even. They had girlfriend at the Freeport of Monrovia. Did anybody make noise about that to say it was a violation? No. So today we should be looking at competence. We should be looking at qualified Liberian who will serve us to move the country forward.
Look, my brother, thank you. Thank you. Like the Americans say here, get out of my bedroom. That's a grown woman and a grown man. Whatever they do is not our concern. Yeah. Thank you so much, brother. Thank you. Thank you so much. And sometimes this is the cavalier things or the petty things that we get involved with. Nonsensical issues, you know? And I would say to the brother sometimes, man, what wrong with you? What I don't want to politics about? No, I'm politics there. This is, I mean, how is this relevant? You know what wrong? Thank you for calling tonight. That it's my team. I know so now, mama, your call, I say, we'll lead there. But when they come up with something like that, they want to look at us as girlfriend. But we're not complaining. What are you making that one your problem? If my weather, go ahead and play.
So now that's what the weather can be happy that you got girlfriend and all that. Look, Dwalu, it's serious, you know. When I heard it, I need directly it came from Stanton. Okay, look, the people always want to find something from somewhere. Is there relevant to the function of the woman's job that she's going to occupy? Even if it was Sergey's girlfriend, the woman is not in the EPS, okay? The woman is in the LDEA. I didn't want to respond to that, but how about the other?
That's not going again.
I play the men are going now, and then they say that Sergey's girlfriend.
So she's not competent for the job? Have you followed like your profile?
That's it.
Have you seen all the places she's gone to do study and training in drug enforcement? Especially transnational crime and drug trafficking. Have you seen that? How we going to run people down so? How we going to run people down so? What kind of country we have to?
But what you expect from a criminal enterprise?
Sorry, man, brother. Sorry. I see what people can say. Yeah, the drug are there fighting back.
They're fighting back because there's.
They're having close here. They're fighting back. They're having close.
And you know. How about man who are personally had legal girlfriend and all around here? Yeah, man, they want to be my closing statement there, yeah. My closing. Dalu.
1 second, Black. Say you're doing that thing a little bit. Whoever had us that girlfriend, they let enjoy small before go to the closing statement. Look, my man Abraham close by. I'm friends to know. I didn't make it up.
Just before Abraham can eat, you know that one because some of them are saying about book. I did a thing about weird at that when that book can put the fatting sound there free. No, see you never my mind the country. That is not the president fatting I am man fatting. Abraham, go on, brother.
Don't let me say that this show was nice, and let me encourage all of us who will come on the show for us to be able to share the show. Thank you for your brilliant comments and what have you. But during my closing statement, I am sad because when Daniel Sano. And I'm sad because, people look at Amara for him to be a father. People look at him for him to be somebody who knows better. For the senator to be addressing Daniel Sano that he is against his religion, that people are posting religious comments, I mean, that is so sad for this country. Daniel Sano in particular, he is not anti-religious. No. If Daniel Sano was going to go against the Muslim community or the Islamic community, don't you think that I would be sitting here on this platform and allow Daniel Sano to make such a statement and walk away like that with freely? I would say no. So y'all stop this thing here. Y'all stop making it look like Daniel Sano. What Daniel Sano said yesterday, the man said that I know that the Honorable Senator is an Islamic man. And that is true. So there was no way Daniel Sano pointed at Islamic people and calling them this and that. Y'all stop that. That is very bad of some of you guys. And to for the accepting senator, for you to go that route, I wanna, some of you guys, we need to give you guys wife so you can be able to watch your ear. Because Daniel Sano did not run an insult to any religious grouping yesterday. Y'all stop this thing here. And when I saw the senator post, it beat me. I can't go there to go comment because, I have a whole lot of respect for him. But equally so, I will urge him, before you can be able to write on a specific issues, you should be able to listen continuously. When you do that, then that means that you will now find out whether you can be able to post or not. All right, give it.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you, Blair. Thank you, Honorable Man. Honorable Man, we're going to come to you. But guys, yes, look, listen, man. Yeah, say what you wear about President we are. Anybody go up and down. I love President we are. But once again, before the feedback, President we are loving for his jolly baby. Now, but you can tell me President we are. I say enjoy me bow with the main era there. President say, now man, I can hear Tanchi, man, I can hear manager no. But when it comes to jolly baby, our president is to be fun. Councilor Man, your party statement, sir.
Oh, I thought you were coming to play one more game because I tell you, don't come make tears come from my album. But look, by the way, anybody in government ain't get some more girlfriend who get serious security bring that we can put some places to. We need some women because the women they drug fight, they can fight it all. So you get somebody men, to go so low. I wanted to close on something else, but for people to go so low, it tells you, the kind of people we're dealing with in our country. And I will not be surprised. Tomorrow you will see Liberians flooding the social media with this kind of trash. Instead of looking at someone's competence, whether the person is competent for the job, whether she has the requisite qualifications, whether she knows anything about security or whatever, drug enforcement, that won't concern you. The fact that everybody, how I say the people know everybody boyfriend, they know everybody girlfriend, they know everything about everybody in the country, about themselves. What is that? Maybe that's why many Liberians let to listen, because they let all the kind of news. All right. So the good thing is that I'm surprised they didn't say that JMB lay girlfriend. But anybody who gets Jew and your Jew can do serious work for our country and very smart, educated, competent, please send a need to the president. Let the president appoint them to some serious position so they can work for our country. You understand? I mean, But beyond this whole thing, Dwalu, you know, I was just going through the Ministry of Agriculture website, and that's the same thing I was talking about. And especially looking at all the projects under the different World Bank and all that. And I think that my advice to the ministry is that you need to even put the progress made on those projects, because look, tomorrow I will go in depth into this so people know that we're not picking on people for nothing. All right, but it is important for our country. If the World Bank gave us, that was $55 million plus 30 million to make it $85 million, right? That's supposed to inspire or to change the lives of over 96,000 people, and it's supposed to run up to 2021 to 2030. At least every year we must know under that particular project what has been the progress made. You go on the website, you see the project, you don't see any statistic or any progress made under the project. You know, and for me, these are the things that we talk about. You don't expect people to get conjecture or that it is done. All right, so the retrap project I'm talking about, $85 million project, supposed to change the life of 96,000 people from 2021 to 2030. We're in 2026 now. From 2026 to 2030, that's about 4 years left in the project. I believe under that project there, you're supposed to give the progress, maybe the annual report that this year, this is what was achieved under the different components of the project. In Nimba County, 2,000 people, farmers were impacted by this. This is where they are in Bedding, in this place, in that place. In this county, this was what was done under this project. Then people see, and then we can know. But there's nothing, even on the website. Even on the website. Then what you set up the website for? What is it supposed to do? You know, we can continue to do this to our country. All right? People, I'm not saying that the minister himself, but look, you have to have effective people who are supposed to account. That's accountability. Then the donor self know that yes, the money is being used, and Liberians can be proud to say, yes, we are doing these things in these areas. And I beg you all, let's do that. But again, to close, let me just say thanks to the president. We are very happy with your fight. I am very happy with your resilience, your determination. To already observe one thing, the executive mansion, when they put up the president's statement on appointment to the LDA, you saw the picture they put there. That no nonsense picture, the man face, he put a cap on, he fine face to say the appointment I'm making. I will show you how serious I am, you know. But let me say thanks to everybody, and Liberians, we have one country to build. Again, to all of our people, especially our regular people, you know, you know all their names. But the boss, Okai, Patrick, thank you. Precious, Gina. Help me with some of the names. I'm put a thing on. I'll be making some of the names.
I understand, but before you say the name, consider man, I know you won't leave. You can just say the name without going. Wait 1 second before you say
don't play. Don't. People, that's not bad thing.
Now the main era there. Now the main era there.
The nigga just suffer all the people there, right?
Well, because the button get on the dance, you gotta get on the dance, right? Now the dance. I can see JB with the dancing too. I saw JB the weekend. Yeah, okay, play that one too now. The Pape get skills.
No, Pape they're not one table. Yeah, they will.
The Pape can be dancing the song where you are dancing the song where you Momo Cyrus remarried. Because Rose Hours, after 20 years, remarried his wife. And let me say congratulations to my brother and my sister-in-law, Salome and Jerry Taylor. Jerry, congratulations again for remarrying your beautiful wife after all these years. Congratulations to all of you. Thank you, Dwalu.
Yeah, I know when a minute get in there with the tickle that you niggas say, yeah, man, so far.
But you do cause they can cause me the men know I can do political replay.
No, for the cutting number, I am mute to A. Number.
Look at my man skills. So your turn, I just see the men do. Look at the men skills. I run away from dance floor.
Yeah, good night, gentlemen.
Yo, thank you so much, God. Thank you. I want to say that to my people, man, from across the country. We began the show today with a simple conversation that I played. Those of you guys who are not here, you did not listen to what I played. I played a simple video, and I want to share that video with you guys before I close the show tonight, because I want us to reflect. Every single day we can say the foreigners come to the country and they take all the resources out of Liberia. But what we do is we are now willing to commit small money to make sure we are the direct beneficiary of the resources of our country. It doesn't work that way. It does not work that way. We have to commit money in Grand Cayman County if we want to control Grand Cayman County. The foreigner sees something I continue to remind you guys when B Mountain first came to the country, they barely invested less than $10 million. In fact, their first assessment was less than $1 million. They are pulling out of our country today over $800 million investment. Every single person who bought one share into B Mountain in its inception, they are multi-millionaire today. And the people in King Joe in Grand Cayman County, they don't get. We continue to sit here. I will remind Liberians, I will give you your basic statistics. You can go ahead and do it for yourself. The average Liberian up here makes about $50,000 per year. That's what we make in this country. Now, don't tell me about your double. Don't tell me somebody who's a doctor. I'm saying average. Average is $50,000 per year. $50,000. You can find $1,000 in that $50,000 for to put a wheelbarrow factory into Total. This is not free money. It's an investment that you can reap some benefit. God forbid something happens to you or go to your children and go to your children's children. This is how we transform Liberia. But if we are not willing to make the commitment to transform our society, nobody's going to do it for us. Until we make those decisions, to truly find a way to transform Liberia, the foreigners will come in, they invest. The guys that are digging the oil well, they're actually doing the oil assessment off the coast of Hopper. They say they only raised $14 million so far. The Liberian Diaspora Equity Fund intent was to raise $25 million. That would give us tremendous clout in the country to be able to invest in areas that gives us control. If a logging company comes to the country, listen, we want 20%, we want 30%. We put somebody on their board. We put our own managers to make sure we track what they are doing in our country. That way they don't take all the money out of Liberia. If a gold mining company comes to Liberia, we want to share this iron ore. As the Liberian Diaspora Corporation gets bigger and bigger, we become a multi-billion-dollar company. We ourselves now can do this on our own. And then I want Flomo, I want Kekula, I want Mohammed, I want Fofana to be the millionaires in Liberia. Because I know for a fact, if Fofana becomes a millionaire out of Lofa County, Fofana is going to invest into Lofa County. And Mr. Gono Odolo becomes a millionaire out of Nima County, he's going to invest in my beloved Nima County. This is if Tape or Ureti or Gilati out of the southeast portion of Liberia becomes a millionaire in our region because he invested into some extractive industry or some manufacturing operation, he's going to invest in the southeast. That's how everywhere developed. And then we can expand the Liberian Diaspora Corporation. We can find Liberia best and brightest mind to really formulate something in the country that is entirely transformative. I do understand that the government has responsibilities to transform in Liberia. I am not negating that thought. I'm not saying government does not have responsibility. I understand government has responsibilities. But if you live in Australia, if you live in Europe, if you live here in America, I want you to walk around your town. The government has almost nothing in that town. The government taxes everything. The government got nothing in that town with the exception of public buildings like the school, maybe the police station, public parks, but all the businesses, nearly all the businesses The government may have subsidized the business to begin with, and I know people have called me. Yes, I've reached out to the government for initial subsidy so we can be able to raise our $25 million, and then we can refund the government the $2 million to be able to raise this money. If we are going to transform Liberia, we need money. We need money. The $24 billion that we are making every single year in the diaspora, yes, that's what we make, $24 billion. Liberia national budget is 1.2. We make $24 billion here in the diaspora every single year. The question that I will continue to ask you guys is, how much of that money we are pumping into the country? In fact, we are giving Sendwave more money, over $100 million a year, based on the remittances that we send to the country, because we are sending home between 600 million to 800 million every year. Sendwave, if you send, I don't care if you send $25, Sendwave taking like, I don't know, that $1.02 or $1.03, and Sendwave takes up to $10 based on the amount you're sending. So if we're sending home 500 million every single year, hypothetically speaking, you take that percentage. If there's 1.2% of Sendwave is taking, you do the calculation. That's how much we're giving Sendwave money. Why the Diaspora Corporation, Liberian Diaspora Corporation, cannot be the conduit through which we send money, and then we can reap that money. But guess what? Through the chain, there'll be Liberian managers. Now we are paying Liberian, not just in Liberia, but here in the diaspora. And then we grow some Liberian professionals that understand money transfer industry. We can expand and build a massive operation. We can build banks in the country. We can build hospitals in the country. We can build the very institution that's going to transform Bopolu City. We can build a garment factory in the country, but it takes money. And like I said, I will continue to come to you guys and say, listen, we got till February 28th of 2027. That's the final day to be able to raise this money, to be able to invest in the country. We don't expect it to be massive in the beginning, but if we were to raise at least 5 million, our target was 25 million. Call it, you know, I was way out there. If you say, well, but if we raise $5 million, we can do a whole lot more. We can get some Liberian professionals to come in. We got to pay them if we take people from their jobs to come to the country to build something that we can pass on to the next generation. This is not somebody's stuff. Nobody owns it. This is a corporation. Anybody who's not doing a job, the shareholders can vote you out, and then they will put a new CEO in place. And listen, we want you to make sure we yield this year would be nothing less than 10%, for example. Now, our CEO has to strategize. What we are doing there is we are grooming top-level professionals in the private sector. These are the kind of professionals that will go into government to up the skills in our governmental sectors. And the people don't like to hear this. Most of the officials that we have in government, I say most, this is actually the most, more than 50%, they don't have the top-level skills in the beginning to get the government. Contrast that to the developed country. Most of the officials that come to government, these are top-level officials in the private sector. So you're already getting skills that you did not pay for. And we got to groom those skills in Banga. We got to groom them in Bonjima. They must be groomed in Buchanan. They must be groomed in Kakata across our country. They must be groomed in Topmanburg. And then they can come to the governmental space. Then we know we're getting top quality professionals to come to government. This is how we do it through the private sector. And I believe personally that through the Liberian Diaspora Corporation, we can groom those kind of officials that will up the standards in the country. But I would need you to join us. The number will always be there. You can visit our website, Liberia Diaspora Equity Fund.com, or you can call me directly anytime, 774-578-1963. Our share is $100. Like I said before, we are trying to achieve 5 basic tasks in Liberia. 5 basic tasks. Number one, primary, is to make our shareholders money. We have to invest in things that are going to make them money. Number two, we have to create thousands of jobs across Liberia that we control through the Liberian Diaspora Corporation. Number three, we must build Liberian industry. We must build Liberian industry. We cannot be men and women in our country. We allow foreigners to come into the country and literally siphon everything in the country because we are just willing to sit down and become workers instead of producers and entrepreneurs and inventors across our country. That's number three. Number one, make our shareholders money. Number two, make sure we We create thousands of jobs across the country. Number three, build Liberian industry. Number four, we have to make sure we have economic clout in the country. I want us to be the financial professionals. I want us to own the banks, to run the banks, to become the lenders in the country, to be the distributors of money across our country. And number five is to get Liberian expertise back to the country. We must get Liberian expertise back to the country. So if you're an engineer in Delaware, somewhere here in America, and you say, my man, what are you making? I made $80,000. Listen, we have a new garment factory out of Buffalo City. We need you to come to become one of the chief engineers. We're going to pay you the same 80 grand you're being paid here with a little bit of staffing. Come down, train our young engineers out of Tubman University, out of AME Zion University. Come over from the University of Liberia and train these young men so we can make sure we run this factory properly. Come in. You got a degree in chemistry. You've been working in chemistry for a while. Come in and let's train the next generation. This is the aim of the Liberian Diaspora Corporation. I want us to get total control. I want us to get economic controls of Liberia. And the only way we can do this, we got to raise some money, go to the country to be able to do this. So many things we want to do. So many things. I could listen here for hours. If you want to build a house in the future, the Liberian Diaspora Corporation and Real Estate Division maybe can build that house for you. That way you don't have to give your money to somebody who will eat it. That's for example. If you want to pave road, maybe in the future, the Liberian Diaspora Road Construction and Conglomerate start paving other roads in the country. If you want to a new bridge being built, the Liberian Diaspora Construction Conglomerate builds the bridge. We can become the millionaires in our country. But if we continue to sit here and feel sorry for ourselves and say, you know, wrong, that Liberia, me, I'm going back there. You know, all my children were born here, Liberia, and I'm there. I get it. Let me tell you why we came to America. We came here to pay it forward. Whether you know this or not, we are the fortunate generation. Those of us who came to America, we were selected by Jehovah God himself. I know some people can't, if you're not religious, I understand, don't believe me, I get it. You don't have to believe me, but this is what I believe. I believe God truly selected us to come to America, to be put in a position where we can help Liberia. I really believe this to my core. God selected us, and there was a lot of people applied for visa in Liberia. A lot of people struggled to leave Liberia, come to America, better the lives. We were selected to come here to get some education, get some training, and then we want to look back to Liberia. We got to pay this forward. If we don't pay this forward, we will have failed the promise of Liberia. We got to pay it forward some kind of a way. Now, I'm not saying we can only pay it forward to the Liberian Diaspora Corporation. I'm asking us to turn back to Liberia. To turn back to Liberia. Look, I was a child when I came here. Some of you who are older, and I've heard the story, some of you got on your knees. You made a promise to God himself and said, listen, God, if you give me the visa, I will do that, I'll do that. I don't want you to forget. One of the greatest ways to repay what God has given you is to lift another Liberian from poverty. That's the surest way to guarantee yourself that you will pay this forward, to lift somebody out of Bupulu County, lift them out of poverty through your instrumentality, if you want to call it that. Lift them up by providing them a job. We go into Kidman, we go into Lofa, we set up an operation in Lofa. We hire 200 people and then we feed 200 different families. This is paying it forward. And I believe through the Liberian Diaspora Corporation, through this collaborative effort, we can pay this forward. And y'all got to join me. Y'all got to join me. I don't care. If I 200, I'll buy 2 shares. Let's do something in Liberia that is entirely transformative. Somebody asked me a question and said, Mr. Dwadu, why if we go, we fail? There is a possibility that we could fail. But I don't think in those terms. Look, I'm a kind of person when I plan, I don't have a plan B. I've never had a plan B in my life. My son, I plan something, I consider every single angle and every single nuance. It has to succeed. So I don't do plan B because plan B gives you a window. Oh, I will just go to my plan B. No, plan A is the plan. And our plan is to build Liberian industry. Now, that doesn't mean the strategy, let's say we go in Kakatan and then we catch some difficulty. It don't mean we can bapa. We can go there, you go into Rafi and the roadblock, we can bapa it, we come to Kakatan way, then we take 15 gate, then we still go to Kakatan. The plan will evolve over time. We can have a plan to build a wheelbarrow factory in Wheeler, and then maybe as we go in along, we say, man, the wheelbarrow factory, they focus more on hay pen and shovel instead of the wheelbarrow, and maybe the hay pen and selling more. We adjust the strategy, but to fail flat out, it will be nearly impossible. Doesn't mean it's not possible, because we will try to consider every single angle, because this is why I want more Liberians to get involved. So now, because you have invested in the Liberian Diaspora Corporation, you're bidding your horse, you're not going to buy any other rebar in the country. You'll buy a wheelbarrow that is stenciled with the Liberian Diaspora Corporation. We are spending more than $7 million a year on wheelbarrows in the country. That money going to foreign vendors. Why can't it go to the Liberian Diaspora Corporation? We're sitting down here. We're doing hand to mouth. We are tired. And the country is sitting virgin. Everything in Liberia is a virgin. And we got to tap into that virginity, because we got to grow Liberia. We got to pay it forward. That's my only ask of you guys. We got to find a way to pay it forward for Liberia to be whole. Once again, man, thank you so much. God willing, I'll see you guys tomorrow, man. We're going to close today with Cole's tip. And then y'all says more vocal.
How you coming back? How you coming back? How you coming back? Where's the roads are concrete? When the drug dealers know they taste their defeat. When our children have hope, not trapped by dope. When tomorrow is bright and they know they can cope. How you coming back? How you coming back? How you coming back? When the nation can heal, when our people find work and prosperity is real, where the farmer can harvest and the markets can meet, when opportunity reaches every village and street. How you coming back? When we drive through the southeast, farm to market roads, connecting west to east, yellow machines rolling.